Wow. 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 I thought I would give you guys a little preview of what the 250th anniversary of America's founding, of their independence would look like, of our independence would look like. That was a time machine. Someone traveled back in time to show us what that would be like. What's up, everybody? So great to see you. Snarf is here. What's up, Snarf? I Rule's here. Good to see you. I Rule. Awesome to have you. None of your business is here too. Great. Miss Hacker's here. Rodney's here. What's up, Rodney? Jonathan Marcus is here, and Marjorie. Kofi's over here on Kick. How you doing? Yeah, and Sherry's here. How you doing, Sherry? Great to see you. Finch. What's up, Finch? Awesome to have you. Let's see. Looking. Kimby, Jay Schwartz is here. Good evening. So glad you're here with us tonight. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Kimby's here too. Awesome to see you, Kimby. So yeah, folks, we're all here. We're getting Lynn is here too. Awesome, Lynn. Lynn, awesome to have you. I forgot to do this over a good thing. I saw that. I forgot to do this on the Rumble. Pop out my chat and bring it over so I can see it in the window. Get my whole thing popping. That's great. It's great. So yeah, so everybody, that's awesome to see you all here. Belle is here on the screen. That's right. For right now, we'll keep her up for a little bit. So there is a goal, as there is every night. We'll talk about it. The way it works, everybody knows, everybody's familiar that for every $100 in total that comes in across all platforms, YouTube Super Chats, the Rumble Rants, gifted memberships, becoming members on YouTube or Rumble, also Kick, Twitch, memberships, locals, coins, and Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, and Super Tips. We add it all up, and when we get to 100, we add an extra hour, and then for each additional 100 that comes in, we add an additional hour to the show, so the show could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, however long you guys want it to be. It's up to you, the chat, and the watchers, and the following, whatever you want to call it, the Jimsomniacs, to decide how long the show should be. And as an added bonus, when we hit 50, we activate Bellvision. But if somebody is so generous that they donate $25 or greater as an individual person, we automatically activate Bellvision with that. Maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll change it to 20 instead of 25. Seems easier. Someone just gets a 20 then. But, and that could be a single donation, or it could be like a different donations. I add them together. Or it could also be like 5 gifted memberships would also be that, or gifting 5. It doesn't have to be in a row. American Jane's here. What's up? Good to see you. Jason Fisher says, any Iran updates? Not really. I haven't really seen any Iran updates. We got some other news to talk about. So we're going to get into it. Gonna. Hey, we got first off the bat, we got a $5 from Mr. Lurch Linger over there on the Cash App. Thank you so much, Lurch Linger, for the 5. Yes, the dog is there. So that means right now we are 95 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and only 45 away from Bellvision. So let's get into it first. Let's see here. First news story of the evening. Yes, Obama-appointed Judge John J. McConnell is ordering the Trump administration that they must resume taking asylum applications. The ruling strikes down the pause on cases from 39 countries. McConnell ordered the restart of the processing, emphasizing that policies unfairly burdened those who followed legal procedures. I don't know about that. That's not just any dog. That's Super Bella. Yes, Karen's here. What's up, Karen? Oh, great to see you. This guy right here. This guy has been a thorn in the side of the Trump administration. There's several judges, him, Indira Talwani, Judge Zinnis. Yes, there's been so many. And this clown. Judge McConnell is a POS. Yes, he is. Because here it is. He equates President Trump's first 4 years to the damage inflicted on the Civil War. So this is this judge. This judge should not be allowed to rule on anything coming out of the Trump administration, because this is him. All right, this is him right here. All right, we're gonna reset this so that
what's happened over the last 4 years or so, and at other times in our country's history, going back to the Civil War and Reconstruction and Jim Crow laws, the civil rights, and during the last 4 years, is that the values that we live by, the constitutional values that form the basis of our country, have been tested, and our institutions have been tested in ways that I don't think a lot of folks thought would survive. It got tested in the 1800s by a war, and we survived the war. Sometimes well and sometimes not so well, but that's for another story. So what we saw the last 4 years, in my mind, was a new testing of it. And how I think about it is, it's like a balloon, and you're blowing up a balloon, and you keep pushing that air in. Well, at some point the balloon's gonna pop, right? And it feels like over the last 4 years, with the challenges that have occurred to the rule of law in this country, that we came very close to that balloon popping. But
yeah, very close. All right.
So, and enforce the rule of law that is against arbitrary and capricious actions by what could be a tyrant or could be whatnot. We saw plenty of examples of that recently. And
so he just said Trump's a tyrant. He saw many examples of Trump being a tyrant. So how are they not removing him from any case? He should not be allowed to be oversee any cases involving Trump, since he thinks he's a tyrant. I mean, this means he has bias. He has opinions. It's crazy. Balloon logic, sickening. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Sickening in narrow way. Sickening. Thank you for being here too.
And it enforces our values. Our values. In a legal sense, the Constitution. And it's that reason that, and we saw, and there are plenty of examples over history, and there's plenty of examples over the last 4 years. What's happened over the last
4 years, there's plenty of examples over the last 4 years. McConnell insists that it's okay for judges to let personal opinions influence their decisions. All right.
So too often, to really understand this, we fall back on
American
kind of a stereotypical comment that judges should have no opinions and whatnot, and that's just not true. If that were the case, we would have computers run our justice system, and we would input this, and we'd input that, and we'd input this, and we'd spin the wheel, and out would come the proper decision. But that's not how justice works, nor should it work like that. Particularly those people that know me know I have opinions. I have opinions about a lot of things. Some are relevant. So too often, to really understand this, we fall.
Okay. And it says he also established that diversity, inclusion, and racial justice committee in his court. So he established a racial justice. It says racism is a white people problem. So this guy, how this guy is on the bench is ridiculous.
So one of the we haven't publicly announced this yet. We only have internally, but we have put together a diversity and inclusion and racial justice committee that has 3 goals. One is to look internally. I don't think we can solve this problem until we look at ourselves. But the committee has stated its mission and understanding that in many ways racism is a white people's problem, and white people need to figure out how to solve it and need to do the hard work to fixing it. So we have formed a committee to look at race in our court. Have we given disparate sentences between black and white? What are our hiring practices like? What's the treatment process right? Have we been a welcoming, inclusive community? The second is to look internally, actually, on that issue, which is what we are like as an employer. We're an employer that provides a workplace, and we want to be a just and inclusive place. And then the second is engagement. Third is
yes, he is a leftist computer on auto idiot. Yes, definitely. CRT judge at that. Yeah, critical race theory judge. Totally, it's crazy. But this is why this is a disgusting piece of crap. Is he gay? It sounds like he does kind of give that off, doesn't he? But I mean, I just want you to see who this is. All right. Yeah, judge then lamented his court was a bad example because it was too white. So he says his court is too white.
Yeah. So Sarah and Lynn and Linda and others involved in the work really drilled into me that it really is important that we talk about racial diversity. That while diversity in many different ways are important, but if we don't focus on racial diversity, then we're missing the world. So let me talk about racial diversity. The federal court in Rhode Island is a sad example of a lack of racial diversity. We have 5 judicial officers, 3 judges, 2 magistrate judges. We're all white. We have 2 women. We didn't have that for the longest time, judges, 1 judge and 1 magistrate judge. The majority of our court staff is white. It's a great place to work, so people don't leave. So that's been very hard to impact. We've not had a new hire, I think, in many years there because people stick around. And so we're a sad example of it, which is why we need to put in place. On the other hand, our probation department, which works directly with people once they get out of the criminal justice system, when I got there was all white. And when we hired a new probation officer.
Up, CF Rob, great to see you. So you hear what this guy is saying right now? It's like, oh, there's too many people here and they're just not leaving because it's too much of a place. So does that mean he wants to fire people, or he's going to get people replaced? He's going to force people to quit? What is he doing? What is he talking about? It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Cannot be any longer. And we immediately got 4.
Oh, hold on. It can't be white any longer. So it can't be white is what he said.
This just cannot be any longer once they get out of the criminal justice system. When I got there was all white. And when we hired a new probation officer, we said, this can't be. This just cannot be any longer. And
so basically he said he used race as a factor. Skin color is a factor for who he hired. That's a violation of the law, which he is still bound by. You can't say, well, we're not going to look at any white candidates because there's too many white people here. No, you're supposed to hire the best candidate, the most qualified. Anybody remember meritocracy? Yes. Good straight point. Starting point for this guy is apply the laws of America to black people the same way it applies to non-black people. Yeah, that would be a great way to start. So anyway, this is enough. I don't want to keep going through this because you got the point. If you want to look into this Judge McConnell, and I wonder if he's related to old Mitch McConnell. You never can tell, can you, these days? So let's see where we're at here. All right. So we got judge blocks Trump policies that halted legal immigration cases for many immigrants. Jumanji was an illegal appointment. I agree. Hey, what's up, the big Harry? Great to see you. Judge McConnell. Yeah, he's a piece of crap. I don't know if he's related to Mitch is what I was getting at, is what my point being. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. So a federal judge in Rhode Island on Friday blocked a series of Trump administration measures that have prevented federal officials from granting asylum, green cards, and other benefits to many immigrants in the U.S. So this is the story here. I don't know, can I?
A massive backlog of asylum claims that they say was created during the Biden administration. As of last fall, the agency had 1.5 million pending asylum applications. And CBS News immigration correspondent Camila Montoya Galvez joins me now. Do you have any indication on how many of those they've been able to get through, and what does this plan entail?
All critical questions, Lindsay. So according to the documents that we obtained, the Department of Homeland Security is drafting a regulation as we speak that would allow asylum officers at DHS to quickly and expeditiously reject applications for asylum without actually interviewing the applicants. And that would go against longstanding policy in practice, because typically DHS interviews every single person who actually applies for asylum to determine whether or not they meet the legal definition of a refugee, of an asylee, and to determine whether or not they pose a threat to national security or public safety. But now asylum officers under that regulation that is being developed would be allowed to reject applications without actually scheduling an interview if they find that that application was filed a year after that person, the applicant, arrived to the U.S. And that has been a long-standing requirement, but typically asylum seekers—
Requirement meaning within the first year that you're here illegally, you have to apply for this.
Or legally, but within the first year of your arrival to the U.S. But historically, if that was the case, if somebody filed that application after a year, they would be able to explain why they did so in an interview. Now they're not getting that opportunity, and their cases would be immediately rejected and sent to the immigration courts, which would now actually oversee their cases in an adversarial setting, in a setting that is much harder to win.
All right, let's talk about the protests at Delaney Hall. That is the ICE detention center in Newark. What is the latest there?
Well, we have seen tense clashes and protests between protesters, residents of New Jersey, and law enforcement officials at the Delaney Hall Immigration Detention Center in Newark, New Jersey over the past week. It all started on Memorial Day after an alleged hunger strike that detainees said they mounted because of conditions that they
Thanks
believe—
to everybody who came over from Watching the Watchers and Rob. I greatly appreciate it. Very awesome. Right now, we're talking about a decision that came down today from this TDS inflicted judge named McConnell out of Rhode Island, who is basically trying to force the Trump administration to grant asylum to a bunch of people, basically to, do what the Biden administration is. He thinks he controls the executive branch, and he could just force everybody to, do what he wants and basically be Biden. And it's not going to happen.
Are substandard and subpar. The Department of Homeland Security has denied all of those allegations, but now officials over the weekend were able to reassert control, if you will, over the situation. They were able to establish a perimeter, and the Department of Homeland Security says that they have now reopened the facility to family visitation. That had been suspended because of the protests. We also know that the mayor of Newark has imposed a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. around the facility.
Okay, Camila Montoya Galvez, thank you.
Oh.
After the stress of losing her father.
Okay. Okay, so yeah. In 135-page opinions, this is crazy, 135-page opinion, Judge John McConnell of the District Court in Rhode Island found the sweeping limits on immigration benefits to be arbitrary and capricious. Oh, okay. One of the policies he invalidated had halted all legal immigration applications filed by citizens of 39 countries listed on the president's so-called travel ban list. The travel ban list that the Supreme Court said was perfectly legal. So this judge is crazy. And it's okay. It restricts travel from countries whose nationals the administration says are too difficult to screen properly. The Trump administration adopted the measure late last year on national security grounds following the shooting of 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. And an Afghan committed that shooting. For months, the pause was largely banned officials at U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services from giving out green cards, work permits, or American citizenship and other benefits to citizens of affected countries, many in Africa or Asia. Hey, what's up, American Dreamer? Thanks for being here. Hello, watchers. Yeah, shithole countries, basically, shithole countries. Initially, the policies also include a complete pause on the hundreds of thousands of asylum cases that are all fraudulent. The hundreds of thousands of asylum cases. Yeah, they're all fraudulent. They're all fraudulent. In March, they partially listed the asylum pause, resuming the processing of applications filed by most nationalities, except for the citizens of 39 nations on the travel ban list. And in his order, McConnell noted that the immigrants affected by the policies he found was unlawful, filed the appropriate paperwork, paid the required fees, and submitted the requested biometric collections and attended the necessary in-person interviews. Can you drink yet? Yeah, I wish somebody would. Thanks for being here, Ira. What's up? Sylvia's here too. Great to see you, Sylvia. In enacting its immigration policies, they claim statutory and regulatory authority that it does not possess. Really? It doesn't possess it? So who possesses it? Who possesses it if it's not them? They act without regards for the reliance interest of the applications. Oh, so you mean they had a reliance interest on the fact that Joe Biden was basically sleepwalking through everything and that people were just rubber stamping all the stuff and letting everybody in. So that's what they're saying is these people relied on being let in. So we just have to let them in because Joe Biden did. This is ridiculous. This is part of the problem with Congress not doing their jobs. And he says it's pretextual concerns of national security that mask anti-immigrant sentiments. That's not for this judge to decide. It's not. So Counsel for Homeland Security criticized the ruling. The left has been running the same gambit with the so-called animus claim since 2017. It is sabotage dressed in legal clothing. It goes like this. The administration's racist. Therefore, policy I don't like is motivated by race. Therefore, it is invalid. They have used it on virtually every Trump-era Department of Homeland Security policy. So, yeah. So this is just ridiculous, all right? And the same thing here from Newsmax. Judge strikes down Trump's immigration restrictions. So a federal judge struck down the policies that they have adopted that barred people from countries on a travel ban list from getting final decisions on their asylum claims. They could just deny all these asylum claims. That would be the quickest thing. Just deny them. Just deny them. Hey, ho, what's up, holy moly? How you doing? Great to see you. Hey, what's up, CF Rob? Good to see you too. I want to thank everybody who's here. And please remind everybody that came over, please consider maybe just, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do these shows pretty much every night. Sometimes I take a night off. They're almost always at 7, except on Saturdays and Sundays, they might be a little later. And then Thursdays, I do a show at 10:30 on Good Logic's channel. But other than that, I do a show pretty much every night. So if you come over, check it out. I enjoy. I interact with the chat as much as possible. I try to participate with the chat and get things done. That way you guys, feel like you're part of the show. That's what I like, to be part of the show with all you guys. What's up, Christine? Great to see you. How much does this judge get from Soros? If I'm not mistaken, this judge's family works for NGOs. Like his daughter works for like one of these like immigration NGOs. Morning Doom says our nation is broken and falling apart ever so rapidly each day. It is, man. We have to stand up to it. We have to fight it. We have to fight it in every way we can with everything we got. We have to fight it. So McConnell is in Providence, Rhode Island, said that the Immigration Services adopted unlawful policies that targeted 39 African, Asian, and Latin American and Middle Eastern countries. So, it's just bottom line is that's ridiculous. And then this next story, which I'm sure a bunch of you guys heard about. All right. There was this guy whose daughter, all right, in Arkansas, this father whose daughter was being molested by a child predator, by a child of a pedophile, whatever you want to call it, predator. And the guy got arrested and was out on bond, because why wouldn't he be under the jail? And the guy came and kidnapped his daughter in the middle of the night, and the father chased the guy down, all right? And the guy refused to get the daughter out of the car, and the guy saved his daughter, and in the process of staving the daughter, the predator, the pedophile, was killed. And they charged this guy with murder because they said after he was done shooting him, he beat him with the gun, like beat him in the head with the gun, and that proved that he was just angry. Well, who wouldn't be angry if somebody was molesting your child and kidnapped them? So, and so they charged him with murder, and he filed, and he was running for sheriff because he wanted to take over as the sheriff. And it turns out that the Arkansas dad and sheriff candidate cleared after shooting death of daughter's molester. They say alleged molester, but it was a molester. Gary Plauché 2.0. Yes, Gary Plauché, father of the century. Hey, what's up? How you doing, B? Great to see you. Glad he was cured. You and me both. Defense of others, what jury would convict him? Yeah, the judge dismissed it. So we're going to read about it here. This guy. Yeah. And he will be the sheriff in this town, just so you know. He will be the new, and as they say, he's winning as sheriff too. Yeah, he's going to, remember that saying, there's a new sheriff in town. Well, yeah, there is a new sheriff in town, and he ain't going to take none of this shit. Arkansas homeboy, yep. In 2025, the pundit reported an Arkansas father, Aaron Spencer, who killed the man he discovered in a car with his 14-year-old daughter last year, announced that he was running for sheriff. All right. In Lonoke County, after the system failed his daughter. As the Gateway Pundit reported, Spencer called the county sheriff's department on October 8th to report his missing 14-year-old daughter. Yes, we need to hear a win. We do. So this is a good one. This is judge whose family got $2.4 million grant for some cleanup on a coast nonsense dealer. Yes, I believe that's the judge. This judge is just a leftist activist. We have to purge. No Nazi tattoos. Nope, no Nazi tattoos. But not real reasoning, I would understand. Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't say, I don't want to, Roanoke goes a long way back. Well, while deputies were en route to his house, Spencer called back at 1:12 a.m. to inform dispatch they'd found his daughter in a truck with Michael Fossler, a 67-year-old man. So his 14-year-old daughter was in a truck with a 67-year-old pedophile. After pursuing Fossler, there was a vehicle crash, at which point an altercation ensued, and Spencer shot Fossler during the altercation. Fossler had previously been arrested and booked in July by another agency for internet stalking of a child and sex assault. In September 2024, Spencer was charged with second-degree murder of Fossler. The man rescued his daughter, a real man, in my opinion. Yes. Now, according to the court records, Special Circuit Court Judge Ralph Wilson dismissed the charges. The judge cited law enforcement mishandling of the dash camera and SD card evidence from Spencer's truck, adding a dismissal is an extraordinary and extreme remedy. Yeah, so this guy had a camera. The guy had a camera in his dash camera in his truck when he got the guy. So everything was on tape, and somehow the sheriff mishandled it and erased it. So the fucking sheriff's office were trying to go after this guy. Why? Hey, thank you so much, America First. Please support Jim. He's a good guy. He works hard to inform us. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the $5, America First. With that $5, that means we are now just $90 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and $40 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much, America First. There's a little bit of Bella for you right there. See, there's Bella. She's just chilling, waiting to come on. She's waiting for her call to the main stage. Thank you so much. I went to a black church in Arkansas. We heard a testimony of a former black assistant principal. He was against black youth crimes because one of his black students ran over him with a car. Well, that'll happen. Stupid ass, awful Nazi bitch just chased my dog off the golf course with her cart, screaming like a psycho. What? That ain't cool. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. What's up, Gundam? Great to see you. Is this another $5? Thank you so much for another $5, America First. Thank you so much, America First. That means we're 85 away. Just 85 away. And just 35 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much. Bellavision. I don't see nothing. Did you send it by Cash App or PayPal? Is that what you're telling me? You sent it some way? Christine, did you? Hey, what's up, Duck? Great to see you. Gundam, everybody. Bella's waiting for a close-up. Maybe the sheriff was helping. There might be something going on there. It's possible there's something going on. Very, very possible. Very, very possible. There's something going on. It's very, very possible. It's going to have to get looked into. You're still waiting to give Bella a bone donation option. I don't know how I would do that. I do have some bones, though. Gundam style. Yeah, it could be Gundam style. Let me check. Is there something somewhere I didn't see it? Let me check PayPal. Let me check Cash App. Generally, when Christine says that, she means, I don't see anything there. Okay. Yes, that's horrible. So, yeah. However, based on the totality of circumstances and unique, specific, and particular facts and circumstances of the case, the court finds that conduct by law enforcement was so egregious that dismissal of this case is warranted. So the cops were trying to set this guy up. They were trying to frame him. Spencer's defense team argued that law enforcement lost the SD card that may have contained the video footage of the altercation and failed to provide any documentation about when it went missing or how it disappeared. It's crazy. It's crazy. The judge ruled that the loss or destruction of the internal SD memory card of the dash camera has adversely impaired the defendant's ability to defend himself. Like, yeah, I mean, this is just crazy. I got to put in my new debit card. Hold on. Oh, okay. Well, I take your word for it. I'll put it. Where'd she go? She's getting a drink of water. She'll be right back. People like this judge are the ones that could lead this country in the Civil War. Good thing a big majority is out there getting bigger. Look at California. Yeah. Sounds sus to me. It does, doesn't it? Oh, you saw my kitty last night? Yeah. Yeah, he was on Joe's show. Yeah. Last night on Joe's show, she jumped on my lap. So I showed her to describe. I think it was Joe's show, right? I think it was Joe's show. $50 gets Bella a bone. Easy peasy. I love to see that chewing going on in the background. Okay. Not all blacks are racist. Not all whites are racist. Just saying. Oh, yeah. Don't judge people by the color of their skin. Judge them by the content of their character. I agree wholeheartedly with Martin Luther King when he said, judge people by the content of their character. What are you doing over there, Bella? Decision to okay, so we're at the judge ruled that in his decision to run, Spencer noted that the justice system had failed his daughter and his family. She has to stay hydrated under the bright lights of YouTube. Yeah, she does. The campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. Watch Spencer's campaign announcement below. Well, I hope so, because this is great. Here's his campaign announcement.
Hello, Lone Oak. My name is Aaron Spencer. Many of you know my story. I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. I'm also a husband, a combat veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division, a contractor, and a farmer. And through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement and in our circuit court. And I refuse to stand by while others face these same failures. That's why I'm announcing my candidacy to run for Lone Oak County Sheriff. This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need. Together, we can build a safer, stronger Lone Oak County for every family. I'm Aaron Spencer, and I'm running for Sheriff of Lone Oak County.
Well, that's a fantastic, fantastic thing. Aaron Spencer, father of veteran, was arrested and charged with murder after he shot and killed a child sexual predator he found in a car with his missing 14-year-old daughter. I mean, that's just crazy, right? Well, really quick, we'll just go to the New York Post just to see what they have to say. Would Bella use a treadmill? I don't know. She runs around. Was trying to see if any post-lunch updates on a Carmelo trial. No joy. I don't really see a lot of stuff. Please like the live stream so that YouTube algorithm shares the stream out to like-minded individuals. That would be great. Hey, B Hops, great to see you here. Great to see you here. Arkansas has an inner city community called Let Our Violence End Love. Wow, that sounds good. Turkeys, wild ones are smart ones. What's up, Lisa? Day, how you doing? Great to see you. She runs fast when she gets after a kitty. Yeah, she boogies. Yeah, rid all violent predators. That'd be good. So murder charges dropped against for Arkansas sheriff nominee who killed teen daughter's rapist. Now that's the way you want to word this, because he did. He raped a teen daughter. You know, I don't care if he hasn't been convicted of it yet. He's still a rapist in my book. A judge tossed a murder charge against Arkansas sheriff nominee who was about to go on trial for killing his 14-year-old daughter's rapist. Not only did they charge him when there was no reason, there was zero evidence that this guy did anything wrong, but they destroyed evidence. They got rid of the fucking evidence that showed the encounter so that they could just make up what they wanted to say happened. Lone Oak had a huge case that was nationally covered about a scoutmaster that molested over 30 boys. Wow. The case against him was dismissed by a judge on Thursday after law enforcement lost the dash cam memory card that captured the 2024 shooting of 67-year-old Michael Fossler. Court finds the conduct was so egregious that they had to dismiss the charges. So Spencer woke up at 1 a.m. to find out his daughter had vanished. He found her in the passenger seat of a car Fossler was driving. He forced the truck off the road and shot the sex abuser. He shot the rapist, which is, you know, that's one way. That's a real easy way to cure that. You know, there's a cure to pedophilia. It's not that expensive. Prosecutors argue that Spencer planned the murder and could have called the cops during the car chase instead of taking matters in his own hands. He planned the murder. This is seriously what they're trying to get away with here. The cops and the prosecutors say that he planned to have his daughter raped and kidnapped by this guy. What? I mean, could you say that seriously? Like, do you plan, like, if somebody was to kidnap a relative of mine and rape them and I caught them, yeah, I think that you could say I planned on murdering them because, you know, what the fuck? I'm rescuing them. It's crazy. Yeah, maps belong on the wall. It's the only place they go. Only place. That's their home. That's where they belong. Snip, snip, snip off Z. Tennis balls. Yep. The father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed. He won the Republican primary for the county sheriff's office in March, expected to win the general election in the overwhelmingly conservative area east of Little Rock. That's right, full Rambo mode. Absolutely justified homicide. That's what I'm saying. The fact they charged him, and then not only that they charged him, but they lost the fucking evidence that would have cleared him. Yeah, he had no time to plan. He reacted. Father should have never been charged for protecting his child. I agree. I totally agree. So for once, it seems maybe a judge made the right decision. You have a chickmunk that snacks on my Johnny jump ups. Hopefully he doesn't find the veggie plants. And this is just, we'll go one last story about it. We'll see if they say anything. Fox News says, Army vet dad running for sheriff gets murder charge dismissed. Let's see what this guy has to say about it.
Yeah, Aaron Spencer's legal team will clearly argue what's called a heat of passion. That is a defense in the state of Arkansas. And what that really means
Hey, Glenn
is
Freud,
that,
that's right. He should get a medal.
Spencer committed the alleged murder in the midst of an emotional disturbance. And this is a good example of that, because the facts in this case support Aaron Spencer's defense of heat of passion. So heat of passion reduces a charge of first degree or second degree murder down to manslaughter. And that would be a big deal for Aaron Spencer, because that can make the difference between getting convicted and spending 30 years to life in jail or serving 5 to 20 years in jail. So there's a big difference between the first degree, second degree murder and manslaughter. Now, heat of passion in Arkansas, I think, clearly applies in Aaron Spencer's situation, because he was looking for his daughter, who was supposed to be secure from this guy named Fossler, who had been charged with raping her. And also he had another charge pending on another victim in July of this year. And why in the world this guy was on the streets, I don't know. But look, if you're a father in Spencer's shoes and there's a stay away order between Fossler and your 14-year-old daughter, and you think that your daughter might be near this predator, then it's reasonable for a dad, me being a dad too of a teenage daughter, it's reasonable for me to get in a car and find this guy and make sure your daughter is okay. Now, the facts in this case support a heat of passion defense because Spencer finds Fossler in a car with his.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. The dash cam may not have cleared him. Sounds like he pistol whipped the guy several times. Yeah, after he shot him, he pistol whipped him. He was already shot, and then he pistol whipped him. So charge him with something about a corpse. What is it called? Like, tampering with a corpse or whatever, misusing a corpse. Because he shot him like 17 times and then pistol whipped him. Yeah, the guy got off lightly. The guy got off lightly. It's not a matter of whether or not it would have cleared him. They tampered with it and got rid of it. So that's why. That's why. And this is just, I wanted to show this real quick. So this is what CBS says. The Associated Press typically does not identify sex abuse victims, but Spencer had made his daughter's experience with the criminal justice a central part of his campaign. All right. Spencer's attorney filed a motion seeking to have the case dismissed, contending that the video and audio of the dash camera from Fossler's truck may have contained evidence that would have cleared Spencer of any wrongdoing. According to court records, a detective from the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office removed the dash camera from the truck when responding to the scene of the shooting. But the camera's internal settings were not preserved, and the battery of the camera was allowed to drain, and as a result, the camera went back to its default settings. When the camera was sent to the Attorney General's office for a forensic exam, the memory card that was in it when it was collected from the truck was missing. The detective who collected the camera later admitted that it was not logged into evidence right away, but was instead stored in his personal office rather than in the evidence room. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe, are you saying that maybe it's possible? The guy was probably going to unalive his daughter with that PDF's level of criminal boldness. Yeah, well, that's the thing you got to be worried about, that he was going to get rid of her, and that way they wouldn't have a witness for the shit he did or something. Wilson replaced the original judge handling the murder case in January after the Arkansas Supreme Court removed Judge Barbara Elmore from the case, finding she'd issued an overly broad gag order that violated Spencer's First Amendment rights. That's right. The first judge, this woman who knows, maybe it's like a good old boys thing going on down there where the judge told him he wasn't allowed to talk about what happened. He wasn't allowed to say anything. I think he definitely saved his daughter's life. So the Arkansas Supreme Court removed the first judge and put this other judge on it because the other judge was clearly gonna. Sounds like the sheriff wanted to end the DA's case. It's possible evidence was contaminated. It's possible. It's possible the evidence would have. Either way you look at it, whatever the sheriff did or the sheriff's department did caused the case to be dismissed. So either they did it on purpose to get the case dismissed, or they got rid of it thinking that they might get away with it because the evidence on there might have cleared them up. He has a Give, Send, Go, a Venmo, and a Cash App. Yeah, he does. He has multiple ways to give to him. Yeah. PDFs don't rehabilitate. They have 100% recidivism. Yeah. Yeah. The dad saved her life. They only deserve one thing, and that guy knows it. Yeah. Oh, I know. So that's very interesting. So they replaced that judge. All right, everybody. So that's good. That's good news. We can all be happy that this guy won't be persecuted and prosecuted for saving his daughter's life from a fucking pedophile. That's the bottom line. All right. On to some news that's going to make you mad now. And I'm sorry. I don't have any choice. 18 Rhino traders unite with all the DemonRats to pass Ukraine aid package heading for a veto fight, which I hope he does veto it. The Democrat-authored bill now faces an uphill battle in the Senate and is opposed by the GOP leadership and the White House. So Frisky had a great close-up last night. Yeah, she did. She was sitting right on my lap. I got a good camera. If you go on Joe's show, you'll see her. Mm-hmm. So here's Daryl Issa real quick talking about the Iran peace framework and the missile inventory. Like, this is not so much about the Ukraine stuff, but I think it's kind of important to hear some of this just because this is This is the backdrop of everything that's going on. They're complaining that we don't have enough weapons for the stuff with Iran, but yet they want us to send more weapons and shit to Ukraine.
President Trump has reportedly sent Iran a tougher proposal for ending the conflict, demanding several amendments to a potential framework agreement and pressing Tehran for a faster response. Reports indicate that President Trump is wary of any deal that would unfreeze Iranian funds and is seeking stronger terms as negotiations continue. For more on this, let's bring in a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Darrell Issa. Congressman, it sounds like some money is going to change hands here somehow. Do you think we need to pay Iran off to officially end this war? And I ask that because the New York Times has something. Tehran had demanded reparations from bombardment damage that some Iranian officials estimate at $300 billion to $1 trillion. Two diplomats briefed on the latest draft called it an international investment fund, which the United States would help facilitate in the event of a final deal. It sounds like some money is going to change hands here.
Well, first of all, Peter, it's their money. So unfreezing funds, and then, if I understand the president's proposal, making sure that those funds are not used to weaponize, not used to support Hezbollah, but rather to rebuild Iran. You're using their money to do a Marshall Plan. That's pretty good, particularly when you consider last time it was pallets of cash, and they clearly, much of it ended up in South Lebanon in missiles that attacked Israel just shortly afterwards.
But what
Definitely.
would
They get
stop
nothing and like it.
Iran from doing what we saw Hamas do in Gaza over a generation, where they take money that is meant for humanitarian purposes and just use it to build a terror army?
There's no question at all that enforcing a deal with a government that has never told the truth is
Hey,
incredibly
there's Duck
hard.
Fat. What's up, Duck Fat? Great
But
to see you.
ultimately, when the president gets past war and the president gets to
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They send money to the Ukrainian officials, and then the Ukrainian officials turn around and send it back to the United States, to the DemonRats, and probably some Republicans too. Some of these RINOs probably get the money too.
these very tough conditions, including turning over all of that enriched uranium, the next step has to be to try to allow the people of Iran to have back a standard of life that they deserve.
There's a new study from the Center for Strategic and International Studies. We have a line here. Land attack missile terminal high altitude area defense and Patriots, heavily used in this war, will take 3 or more years from today to return to pre-war inventory levels. The Pentagon has a lot of bombs and missiles that they can use if President Trump decides to go back to war. But how big an issue is the inventory?
Peter, it would be a huge issue if we were in a conventional war against China or Russia, because some of those would be immediately needed. For the likely wars, including Iran, Ukraine, and other areas, Yemen, we are shifting to, for example, 300,000 drones that were just ordered. We're shifting to a different type of weaponry. Much of it we've learned in Ukraine and in this conflict. So part of it is we're speeding up the process of rebuilding those conventional items like Patriot, but at the same time, anti-drone drones and so on are coming online.
We need to stop being the world's welfare system.
Source.
2C is
just
good.
Because the fighting has stopped. That most of the fighting has stopped right now during this ceasefire, which is kind of a ceasefire in name only. Because
it's like a Vietnam ceasefire. It's a ceasefire, but people are still dying.
And it's crazy. But how long until the war is officially over?
There we go. Wow. Thank you so much, Christine. Wow. That's right. Christine just gave $50 on the Cash App. Wowzers. Wowzers. So that means right now we are just $35 away, folks, from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you. Wow. Check out 2CTV. Yes. Thank you so much, Christine. Wow. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Stop being so dang nice. That's right. We can't be so nice. We got to be mean. So yeah, so that's what's going on. So this is Iran update kind of.
It could be a very long time, but
Can you guys hear it good?
When somebody can't breathe and they want to slow down,
Thank you
how
so much,
fast
Brenda.
they make
Thank you for being here.
a deal. The person who's breathing just fine says, "Okay, I'll keep you dunked underwater until you're ready. If you want to last longer, great." That's what President Trump is doing as we speak. He's taking advantage.
Amazing,
of the fact that they're
Thank you,
suffering.
Christine.
We're not. They're dealing with significant problems. We only have to try to boost our oil and natural gas to help the Europeans. By comparison, we're dealing only with higher prices for a time. They're dealing with an existential threat to their regime.
I should give you some congratulations. You are now in charge of the Kennedy Center.
Thank you so much, Christine.
I instructed the Department of Commerce to make all necessary arrangements with Congress to allow a full and complete transfer of this institution. He basically is saying that if a judge tells him he has to take his name off it and he can't close it for 2 years to fix it up, then he doesn't want it. What's Congress going to do with it?
Congress should do with it what we did in the past. As over the years, as chairman of the Oversight Committee, we control all of the presidential libraries. The Kennedy Center is, at least by the way it's been sold over the years, a library. And if it's Kennedy's library, then the House Oversight Committee and its companion in the Senate need to make sure that it lives up to its appropriate mission, that the nonprofit side doesn't get involved in politics, that in fact, that it truly is a testament to the president, and leave it at that. And it's Kennedy Center has never acted like the Reagan Library. And if it starts doing it, it'll be a better institution.
And last question, there was some breaking news overnight. The president has decided we should have a giant Make America Great Again rally for 250 instead of having overpriced singers who nobody wants to hear, whose music is boring, and yet who do nothing but complain. Cancel it. What do you think about that?
I want Mike Love and the Beach Boys. And I want them on the 4th of July. I want every great American person to be there. If it's also a rally, that's fine with me. We've already bought the fireworks. This is a celebration of our first 250 years, with 250 more to come. And there's plenty of great patriotic music that can be played by the real band in some cases, by others, including our military bands. So I'm with the president. If a bunch of people who aren't even going to sing about America.
All right, well, that's enough. So the Republican House on Thursday passed a sweeping security package to provide new military aid to Ukraine. So which is it? Do we not have money, or do we not have stuff? Do we not have the things to get it, or do we have to to take care of Iran? Did we run out of weapons? How are we sending them to Ukraine if we ran out? Very interesting. Very interesting. How is it possible we're out of weapons for war with Iran, but we got plenty to send to Ukraine? 18 Republican RINOs crossed party lines in support to DemonRats in their legislation. The vote was 226 to 195. Representative Kevin Kiley, an independent that caucuses with the Republicans, also supported the legislation, while Erp Omar was a lone Democrat to vote against the bill. So why did Ilhan Omar voted against it? Wow, that's strange. Nissan Dorma, Some of All Fears. Well, Some of All Fears is a great book by Tom Clancy. Anyway, House GOP leadership and a vast majority of Republicans oppose the legislation aimed at bolstering Ukraine's defenses. The measure now heads to the Senate, where it faces an uphill battle to clear the chamber. The White House said the legislation would undermine President Trump's goal of ending the prolonged conflict. About a month ago, someone said she works at a missile factory and orders went up like 400%. Wow. The bill seeks to tie the president's hands by mandating a wide-ranging U.S. response to the Russia-Ukraine war while adding hundreds of millions of dollars in unfunded authorizations. Way better book than movie. Oh, the book is completely different. They changed the whole book. The movie was not anything like the book because for whatever reason they had to make the bad guy in the movie a white supremacist. Yeah. That had nothing to do with the bad guys in the book. they completely changed the whole reasoning. They basically made it that, like Nazis were bad. It was Nazis. White people were bad in the movie. The book was Islamists and separatist American Indians. Elon is trying to get to ours, not the prosecutor. It's possible. But I recommend the book. I recommend all of Clancy's books. Bear and the Dragon, Patriot Games, Red Rabbit, Cardinal in the Kremlin, Hunt for Red October, Executive Orders, Debt of Honor. Debt of Honor is like so good. In Debt of Honor, Tom Clancy predicted that they were going to use planes to crash into buildings. They crashed a plane in the movie Debt of Honor into the Capitol. Not really the Seminoles. More like it was like there's something like there was what is it called? It was called like ARM or something like that, or what's it called? Where they had this group that were like they wanted to basically for the Indians to have their own country, like basically to be like start a war to basically have their, like to be separated from the United States, to no longer be part of the United States. They always tell us what they're going to do. Yeah. The security package would reaffirm U.S. support for Ukraine and NATO, authorizing $1.5 billion in new security assistance and $8 billion in direct loans, and extend a Pentagon program that procures weapons and military equipment for Ukraine. So the weapons that they're telling us that all these people, if you remember, all these same people were running around with their head was on fire, claiming that, we're out of weapons. We used all these weapons in 30 days or whatever it was in Iran, but yet we can send more weapons to Ukraine. Something don't add up. The White House warned that the mandatory sanctions would plunge the global economy into chaos. Republicans who supported measures said its passage should not be viewed as defying the president. The president has been a leader in support of the people. President Trump has been the leader to support the people in Ukraine, so I'll be voting for the people of Ukraine. When asked about the opposition, Wilson said, Putin needs to know the American people stand with the brave and courageous people of Ukraine. Well, kind of what the Muslims want right now with Sharia law in our country. Yeah. I mean, the movie make a lot more sense now. This bill is not about helping Ukraine, and it's not about standing up to Vladimir Putin. This is about engaging in Trump derangement syndrome as President Trump tries to bring this conflict in for a landing. Clay Higgins says, I oppose further funding for Ukraine. Me too. The successful vote came after the legislation sponsored by Representative Gregory Meeks had languished in the House Foreign Affairs Committee for more than a year. The measure gained momentum after a handful of defecting Republicans signed a Democrat-authored discharge petition. Oh, wow. It's always strange. No Democrats ever join Republican discharge petitions. It's never happened. They just don't do it. But you always get these fucking rhino traitor bastards that will sign on with Democrats. One in particular who's no longer, going to be in Congress because he lost his fucking primary. He's always signing on to DemonRat discharge positions. Democrats have repeatedly governed in a minority as if they were the majority, and we're going to do this again this week. That's what Hakeem Jeffrey says. Yeah, because he can always get some, rhinos, Republicans in name only, to come along with them. So the bill calls on NATO to increase defense spending to 2% of their economic output, but Trump already secured a 5% commitment of all these people. So it's just a bill. They're trying to say, oh, we did this. It's all bullshit. What about all the money and weapons that Ukraine has made disappear? Yeah, that it ended up in Mexico and other places. Yeah, Hunter Biden laundered more than $10 million through Ukraine. Burisma scandal. Yes. This bill unilaterally moves us backwards, and a decrease of NATO defense member spending would be the result. So they actually put in this bill for NATO members to reduce their spending. It's ridiculous. It really is. It's just ridiculous. Legislation also proposes a lower figure for training and equipping Ukraine's military than what Congress authorized last year in the annual defense policy legislation. So they were actually reducing the money by trying to claim their. The Democrats, DemonRats are morally bankrupt that they're willing to support Blatant just to stay in power. Yeah. Patterson City, New Jersey, raised the fake Palestinian flag today, conquered land. Hasn't Ukraine run out of draft-able population? Well, I'm sure they're drafting, not eligible. They're probably snatching people off the street. This is our Churchill moment, said Bacon, another rhino who's not running for re-election because he was lost. Got beat. So there's that. All right. And then CBS just says House approves new Ukraine aid as over a dozen Republicans defect. So yeah, so it had amassed most of the signatures to force a floor vote months ago, but was one name short. It was one name short, and guess who went? The guy who claims to be an independent, Kevin Kiley. He caucuses with the Republicans, and he was the 218th signature. Every demon rat and 2 Republicans, Don Bacon and Brian Fitzpatrick, also signed the petition. So Ukraine gets money, but Iran war is voted down. There must be a lot of kickbacks in the Ukraine bill. You ain't kidding. It's all connected. It is. The likes and the bodies has a huge discrepancy. Well, it always does. I mean, we had over 450 people here at one time. And I just remind everybody, if you haven't already, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. Candace Owens softball interview with Hunter Biden and then went to Russia with the Rothschilds. Something's amiss. It is. Nazis see the world a lot like jihadis. They'll send their kids to die with little or no hesitation. It's crazy. They've been fighting over the Donbass for 2 decades. Yeah. And the key vote, discharge position, half dozen Republicans voted with the Democrats to propel it to the final passage vote. So, legislation would authorize up to $8 billion in loans and all this stuff for Zelensky. So more money. The Democrats need money they need money. The Democrats need money for their elections. They need the, Act Blue and all the NGOs that were getting money through USAID, that all dried up. So now they need to get it somewhere else. They need to get it somewhere else. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Carmelo Anthony. Just a little bit. We're not going to talk a lot about this, but here's this. For context, 4 of the 16s that testified today were black. Hey, what's up, Eastwood Farms? Great to see you. Teen 3 said Austin told Carmelo he was not going to fight you at a track meet, dude. America First says, I want everyone to see the intelligence that got booted tonight. Greg says, thanks for showing your support for Putin and his invasion of Ukraine. I don't support the invasion of Ukraine. I just don't support a corrupt country that's been stealing our money for decades, and they have, and ripping us off. So Teen 4 said Austin never got to grab Carmelo because Carmelo stabbed him so fast. Teen 6 said that Carmelo's vein in his arm was visible, and it appeared it was grabbing something from his backpack. That something ended up being a knife that was used to kill Austin. The Daily Mail also reported that all the teens testified and said Carmelo was asked repeatedly to leave the tent. That's the teen. Meanwhile, the cheerleading section outside is a serial child rapist not in prison. Yeah, this is crazy. This is this guy, Mr. Morris, is describing the video, claiming that that no one's seen it. And he's claiming he's seen it. And he says it's going viral on social media. So he has some points of accounts who this guy is. But this guy, it turns out, is this guy Morris is a convicted child rapist. He lured little boys to hotel rooms, forced them to watch porn, and raped them. In one case, he traveled 200 miles to rape the small male child. Take his word or completely discount based on him being a literal human trash child rapist. This is the people supporting Carmelo Anthony.
But those cameras, the one that they're showing is the one that's right to the right side of 50 yard.
Right.
So it's directly showing where Carmelo and them were.
Okay.
So you actually see them walking up. You see that Carmelo is already up under there. He's under there minding his business.
Dived in the rain, or
yeah, it was still rain.
Right.
I'm from Louisville. So that day we were under a tornado watch.
Right.
And we were under thunderstorm warning. And we know we had already had some light rain then, and it started raining again. Then it was over with for the day.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened on that day. But they were at a rain delay already. And so during that time when that happened, the twins, their 2 buddies, and a few other kids, because there was a few kids involved with them, they were all coming from the direction of the middle school, coming walking back up. On the video, you can see those 4 that actually was involved, and maybe about 3 or 4 others. that was with him, skipping up, trying to catch up behind. One veered off probably toward his way to go to the coach and kind of distract him a little bit. And then the other 4 came walking together. One went in front of them, went past.
Right.
The other 4 went and they surrounded Carmelo. You know, if you're Carmelo.
And they showed it on that video.
It's on the video.
Okay, come on.
You can see him walk
I'm gonna
up.
say little
And
stuff.
I'll put
while
it
you
this
talking.
way.
Okay.
They actually tell you when you're watching the video, pay attention to this.
Thanks for
corner
being
right
here,
there.
Lorazza
If
for
you
Trump.
look
It's always
anywhere
nice
else,
to have
might
you here.
miss different things.
Okay.
So watch those 4. Here, there are 4 right there coming up.
Right.
That's exactly what they say.
Okay.
And so you have no way to be confused that it's those 4.
Okay.
So they come up, they surround them, and this immediate moment of not even a few seconds of pause, then that's when they jump. And so
He said they jumped him. This guy is a fucking liar. And these people, if something breaks out, if some kind of violence breaks out because of this trial, it's people like this convicted fucking child rapist that are causing it. And there's other people, people like, I don't know, Jacob Blake's father, the guy that got shot after he raped a woman and kidnapped some kids and then was holding a knife on him in the car. And, and the police shot him, and then Kenosha burned down, and Kyle Rittenhouse had to defend himself, and he got put to his. These are the people they're defending Carmelo. All right. These are the people. These are the people defending Carmelo. Hold on, where's it at? I got it here before that one. So here's another one. After attempts to intimidation turned into a verbal altercation with police, he then parked his truck and rushed into the courthouse. He came out and said, "It's time for bloodshed." Playing music. I don't like the music playing. The guy just said, "I'm willing to die for this here."
He works for us.
So here he is. No, I just want you to see this interaction and see how people act. And then when people claim, "Oh, we're afraid of police. We're afraid of police." They're not. They're not afraid of the police. They know they can get away with this shit. And they think they're going to get away with it. Yeah, cuff them. Sounds like a threat. Sounds like a threat to me. I ain't scared of nobody. Oh, sorry, American Dreamer. Oh, and he starts playing F the Police. So that's the guy. All right. I know I had it somewhere else. Where is it? Where is it? So yes, you got this woman here in pink.
Pushing up daisies. What you gonna do? Pushing up daisies.
She says pushing up daisies. It's saying she's going to kill somebody. All right, and then we'll wait for this one to start again.
What you gonna do? Stop fucking coming over. You gonna mess with that? I'm talking to you. Trying to get out. They running quick. So they
this is just crazy. All right.
He was not an aggressor. Carmelo was not an aggressor. He was minding his damn business when the boys came up to him. Read the crowd. Read the creed.
Collin County in Texas is the county it's in. If that was a tornado warning, they would have removed the children and put them under safer conditions. Yes, totally. It's a lie. I read that the black eyewitnesses testified today not good for Anthony. Yeah, that's everything I'm reading. It's everything that I'm reading. So this is going to break down brief things of what happened. Carmelo Anthony witness testifies students repeatedly asked the killer to leave the tent before the stabbing. Yes, it's Bebe kids. It's Bebe kids. Yes, Bebe kids. Fatigue is real, and even that in itself angers me. Yes, totally. He was not aggressive, yelling aggressively. Yes, I hate when that happens, don't you? Hey, Great Eagle, thanks for being here. Christine says, it makes me ashamed to be from Texas. Well, let's see how the trial ends up before we, I have faith that there's going to be a conviction. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't have pled this out. Like, they should have tried to plead this out. Like, trying to claim self-defense just makes 0 sense. Yeah. 6 out of the 6, all 6, 4 of them black said there was no fight. Yeah. Totally. He was just acting black. Oh, is that what it was? Might want to check out Holland County's PDF register. I don't know where that is. Is that in Texas? Hey, Grizzle, what's up? How you doing? Fatigue. Yes, that's real. Why is that guy holding the Union Jack? I have no clue why they're doing this stuff. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You get some weird people. Was he only charged with first degree or second included? I'm not sure. I don't know. Frames of Rhythm, what's up, Derek? Great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. They're trying to create another George Floyd incident. Well, that's what they want to do, but it ain't going to happen. I mean, there actually is another George Floyd incident that happened. It's Henry Novak in England. I mean, he's saying, I can't, I can't believe they're trying to bury that one. That's crazy.
Boy, this is a terribly sad and very tense situation as you see protesters facing off for the past couple of days over the trial of the suspect in the deadly stabbing at a high school track meet. These were 2 17-year-old boys who got into this fight during a track meet that they were both at.
All right, that wasn't a fight. See, this is Fox News. This is why I think Fox News sucks. And I hate Fox News. Just that they got into a fight. There was no fight. All these kids testified there was no fight. He just whipped out the knife and stabbed them. You think the flag was a Grand Union flag? Oh, okay. The camel jockey stabbed me is what he should have said. Great Eagle says, I'm waiting to get paid to shop off the ground to help mom and pop shops. Well, that's awesome. Thank you. Admitted killer, accused murderer. Well, yeah, he admits to doing it. He just tried to claim self-defense. So these are like the people who defended P. Diddy. Look at that, McKinney. That's where I was born. Wow. And OJ and Floyd. Yeah. But he feeling disrespected. That's what he said. He said, well, he touched me. He touched me, so I killed him. Margie says he's charged with first, but prosecutors tend to overcharge as a tactic. And before jury deliberation, they will request additional lesser charges. Gutfeld's the only thing watchable on Fox. Yeah, I agree. But, I have to, I prefer video to, You heard one legal commentator say a conviction will probably be thrown out on appeal over jury selection. Well, it's possible. It's possible that could happen because the Supreme Court just recently, in the past, couple weeks, sent a case back for retrial because of the same type of thing. And two justices were livid over it. One was Justice Thomas and the other was Alito. Because they're like, nothing changed because of this. This is cut and dry. This is not even like a close case. Like, the facts are the facts. You know, this is ridiculous. I only watch Fox when you play clips here. Last time I watched, they called Arizona for Biden. Yeah, I don't like them at all. They suck. The Fox written article is better. All right, well, we'll get to that in a second. I
don't know if you can really call it a fight. It was a stabbing, and the question of
what
was provoked and what happened before.
All right, so I have to apologize because she did say she can't even call it a fight.
Is really the subject, and the question of what was provoked and what happened before that is really the subject of this trial. Texas teen Carmelo Anthony on the left is accused of stabbing Austin Metcalf last year when they were both 17. By all reports, they didn't even know each other when they went to this meet. He is charged with first-degree murder, and state law lets prosecutors try 17-year-olds as adults. No criminal history here. He had a 3.7 academic average in high school. His lawyers say that the stabbing was self-defense. That obviously is being argued against on the prosecution side. Austin's twin brother, Hunter, was there as well. He said it happened after Anthony showed up in their track team's tent and got aggressive, and Austin told him to leave the tent. Hunter and his mom talked to Will Kane here on Fox last year, the day after their brother and son was murdered.
And then all of a sudden I see him run down the bleachers, grabbing his chest, and just blood rushing out. You know, he said, "Yo, you got stabbed, you got stabbed." First I froze for half a second. I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him about to fall. I would go over there. I grabbed him. I see this stuff.
Yeah, I think too. I think that if I'm not mistaken, that the mother and the brother have a completely different view of this as the father. The father, I think, whatever reason, is being like all like politically correct about it and stuff, saying, "I forgive him," and accused of stabbing. No, he stabbed him. Yes, he did.
I don't know how. I mean, it's just so heartbreaking. I don't know how that mom and brother, they were probably still in shock at that point. Criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno is going to tell us what to watch for in this trial. It is true tragedy all around.
Courtroom, but I could tell you that today one of the key witnesses was a 17-year-old student who was one of Metcalf's athletes and teammates. He was under this tent. He saw it all. So this is going to be really important testimony. He said that he witnessed Anthony walk under the Memorial High School tent, even though Anthony went to a different high school. And that's when 17-year-old Austin Metcalf told Anthony to leave the tent. He testified, quote, "I remember Carmelo refusing to leave and Anthony saying, 'You need to leave,' and Carmelo saying, 'Touch me and find out.' The prosecutor asked, 'Anyone try to gang up on him?' He replied, 'No, sir.' 'Who was provoking?' the prosecutor asked. 'Carmelo Anthony,' he replied. The witness said, quote, 'Austin leans in to push him and Carmelo stabs him.' Jurors were also shown body camera footage of Anthony being detained right after the stabbing. He tells the officer, quote, 'I'm not alleged, I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to.' Now, Anthony's defense attorneys argued that he stabbed Metcalf, who was unarmed, in self-defense and out of fear. Meanwhile, Anthony's supporters have long claimed that race is a factor in this case, helping fuel demonstrations.
Yeah, maybe a race is a factor. Maybe the young African-American boy hates white people and just wanted to kill a white person. Maybe. Could we say that? Would that be fair to say? Or would that be unfair to say? Because saying race is a factor, that would be the only factor that I would make from it, considering out of the 6 boys that were there, 4 were black. So the 2 white kids were, the 2 brothers were the only white kids there. So, maybe race was a factor. Maybe kill whitey was the factor. Yeah. And yes, that's Gundam was 100%. It was pointed out that Carmelo cut off his dreads and wore an oversized suit to make him look younger and small. Yeah, that's what they're reporting. They're like the mainstream media is calling him the baby face. He's such a baby face. How could you do this to someone so young and baby face? He's got his whole life ahead of him. Oh, give him another chance. He was looking for street cred, possibly looking for street cred. Yeah, white hate. Yeah, 2 lives. Yeah, it is definitely, Joe. 2 lives wasted. 2 wasted lives. It is. But, you do the crime, you got to do the time. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He was jealous. Austin was an elite athlete. Anthony was average. Yeah, maybe. Possible. The city of Holland, Texas, is situated in southeast Bell County, midway between Austin and Waco, and is part of the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metropolitan Statistical Area. Governments are corrupt. Rights are people's laws. His father's a Christian and believes in forgiveness. Well, I'd be a little more Old Testament. That's all.
The final jury does not include any black jurors. Prosecutors say this case has nothing to do with race. Meanwhile, we're told inside court right now, we just heard the testimony from a second witness. He was asked by prosecutors, quote, "Did this look like self-defense to you?" He responded, "No, sir." Martha.
All right. Brooke, thank you very much. So let's
hold on.
bring in criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno, host of the
I don't really want to hear this criminal defense attorney's take. So jurors returned Friday and they heard the 911 call. They watched surveillance footage and listened to testimony. He pleaded not guilty to murder in the stabbing and maintains he acted in self-defense. Don't blame his parents all here. I'm not blaming anybody's parents. It's parents' fault he acted this way there. I don't know if it's his parents' fault. I'm not going to blame his parents. It seems like maybe, from the best I can take of this, his family's actually, he has a father in the home and a mother in the home, and they're not like poor or anything. They lived in a nice gated community. So, yeah, actual justice for Carmelo might not turn out to be what the protesters have in mind. I heard there are no blacks in the jury. With them whites and Latinos let him go because he's so young. We didn't want to ruin his life. I can see. Hope I'm wrong. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be unheard of. Isn't that convenient? They pull the race card when it suits them. Yeah. Is brought up. They also hate whites is why. Oh, you think he was brought up to hate whites? If his parents raised him to hate whites and stuff and told him that they're all crackers who want to lynch you or something like that. Maybe. Of course, they won't admit it had to do with race. That would mean a black person is racist. I blame the parents because of the way he acted. Well, I don't know enough about the parents. If I knew more information, if his parents are racist, then sure. But I'm just saying I don't know enough about. But race is used in cases, voting, everyday beliefs, why people fed lies, why one would suspect. Fort Hood has historically recorded some of the highest violent felony rates in the U.S. Army, averaging 129 violent felonies per year. Wow. That's a lot. What are the KKK or the Black Panthers, Jim? They're both racist organizations started by Democrats. Paid to believe or act as such. Black jurors said they won't convict. That's why they dropped them. Yeah, one of them did. One of the people did say I couldn't put a brother in jail or something like that. Defense is accepting part of the burden here because they want the jury instructed on self-defense. Anthony appeared in court and wearing a navy suit, a white shirt, and a green pattern tie. Day 2 testimony began with the ISD school resource officer, one of the first officers to respond. Cortez testified he knew Austin and Hunter Metcalf through athletics and ran from a nearby middle school to the stadium after hearing the call to come over the radio. Just like the black lady in California, I'm voting for Bass because she's black. Yeah, and paid for by the SPLC, supported by the SPLC. Yes. Yeah. Parents can be really good at raising their kids to become racist. Yeah. This is not a teachable moment. No, this is not a teachable moment. Well, it's a teachable moment as far as don't bring a knife to a track meet, don't stab somebody. The last 3 eligible blacks were teachers. Well, that's what they said. They were educators. And so that's why, because of, I don't know. I don't know what their philosophy was. I don't know. I hope it doesn't get over, I'm sure no matter what, I'm sure they're going to appeal it. It's going to go and go and go. And who knows what's going to happen. I hope it doesn't get, I hope it doesn't. Anthony is 17, means parents are to approve of his actions. Okay. You just got a jury summons, usually ignore, but I kind of want to see if it's a black person now and then just vote guilty. Well, don't do that. You know, like I don't care. Honestly, I don't, in my opinion, I don't care who the person is. If I go to jury duty, I am going to hold the state to their burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the person did it. Because that's what needs to happen. The state should have to prove it. No matter what, the state should have to prove it. Because if the state don't prove it and you let the state get away with it, they're going to keep getting away with it and putting it, sometimes you put innocent people in jail. And I don't want one innocent person in jail. Anthony was cooperative, did not attempt to flee. Tense confrontation breaks out at the courthouse. Really? Should we watch this? I'm just going to play or? What is going on here? What is happening here? What is happening here? I guess it's not a video. What is going on here? What is happening here? I guess that's not working, whatever that video was. It's not, I'm not alleged. I did it, he said, so he admitted to doing it. Jurors were shown body cam footage of the encounter. According to Fox 4, prosecutors asked Cortez about the weapons policy. Cortez testified weapons are prohibited. Oh, of course, you're not allowed. Go look it up, Jim. Okay. I'm not sure what you're talking. Go look what up. Anthony, not an adult, is why his parents are at fault. Well, they charged him as an adult. So they did charge him as an adult. Innocent until proven guilty. Yes, I believe that. I don't care. I don't care what the charges are. Well, I mean, I don't want to be hypocritical, but when someone's accused of like child rape and stuff like that, I kind of am like, maybe, but I don't know. I'd still want it to be proven in a court. Didn't the parents blow the money in the GoFundMe account? The parents bought a new truck and moved to a new house with the money. I was on jury duty. It took me all day to change everybody's mind to not guilty because the state did not prove it. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I'd be like, well, they didn't prove it. If they don't prove it, then that's it. If they don't prove it, then you got to say no. You can't just go with it. So it's okay to kill a person because they touched me here, Jim? No, I didn't say that. I'm saying that when it comes to like child rape, though, that's one thing where it's like, if a little, I don't know, man. I could see like here. So are you saying you didn't support Gary Plauché? Are you saying you didn't support that sheriff candidate who saved his daughter just because they weren't convicted in court yet? I mean, the guy who kidnapped Gary Plauché's son and molested him. I don't know. Did he might even did he kill Gary Plauché's son? No, I don't think he killed him. But I mean, I support Gary Plauché. I support Spencer, the guy, the sheriff. My saying I'd rather see 10 people go free than one innocent man go to jail. Yeah, that's the saying. I mean, that's the thing. Different stories. Oh, okay. I was sent there in 2012, and I was told not to hang out in Tom because of crime. I didn't see any on base. Tom was different. All right. It's Obama's fault he brought the racism back. Jurors were shown photographs of the folding knife with the gray or silver handle that appeared partially open. There was blood on the blade. Body cam footage shows officers running to the track. According to Fox 4, voices can be heard in the background saying, oh my gosh. Well, Ocean's God, that's my best friend, my brother. It's two very highly emotional issues for the public, very incendiary. Yeah. Most jurors don't consider presumption of innocence. A large percentage, 78%, think make their decisions during opening statements. Yeah, I know. Both stories are not the same. Well, okay, you're right, because the father that saved his daughter, all right, the the father that saved his daughter caught the guy in the act, basically, and saved his daughter. Be right back. Don't miss you much. But as far as Gary Plauché, like the police were bringing, it's famous. You can look it up. Their police were bringing the guy who kidnapped his son and took him to another state. They were bringing him back. They extradited him back to the state. They were coming through the airport with the guy. And Gary Plauché steps from behind a phone and pops the guy in the head. And Gary Plauché did get found guilty of killing him. But the judge sentenced him to nothing. Because he said that it's not like this is going to repeat or anything. The judge suspended the sentence. So he was convicted, but the sentence was suspended. Always keep a quick clot in your med kit. Yeah. Yeah, live on TV. Yes, it was live on TV. Yeah. And he did get convicted, which if I was on that jury, I don't know, man. I would probably be like, nah. You agree with the judge? Well, yeah, the judge just said it's not like this is going to. It's not like he has going to. The judge said he has no risk of recidivism because the guy who he killed was the guy who kidnapped and molested his son, and unless we think that's going to happen again, is nothing to worry about. Teammate testifies Anthony provoked the confrontation. Following the lunch recess, prosecutors called a 17-year-old Montgomery student who witnessed the confrontation. The witness testified the students repeatedly asked Anthony to leave the memorial tent before the encounter escalated. The student team of Austin Metcalf told the jurors several students told Anthony he probably shouldn't be here and he needed to leave. I think all the U.S. judges are going to be the AI Elon Musk bots in the future. It's maybe possible. You can understand that response. Just saying. What is this about? Is this more video? Is this actually going to be something, or is it?
Let's bring in nationally recognized plaintiff's attorney from the Hyman law firm, Kelly Hyman. Kelly, based upon what you learned in court yesterday, I know you've been following this. We all got a sense of how prosecutors are going to attack defendants' self-defense argument. Was it effective in your opinion?
Ultimately, that's going to be up to the jury of whether they think it's effective, but it was very powerful statements. So each side got opening statements, and those are not evidence, but they're a way to persuade the jury about their position. Judge gave them 20 minutes.
All right, I don't. Well, this is this lady telling me about the opening arguments. This is not what I was looking for. Not what I was looking for. So here, let's do this. This is supposedly the courtroom reporting from Fox 4, Dallas-Fort Worth, KDFW, Dallas-Fort Worth. So attorneys gave opening statements on Thursday in a murder trial. Prosecutors labeled the fatal stabbing a provoked, unjustified sneak attack inside the tent, while defense countered that it was a split-second act of self-defense. Prosecutors capped the first day, revealing that physical, blood-stained jacket and coat shoes to apply pressure to the victim's wound. The second day began on Friday morning. Former student accused of fatally stabbing another student. He faces murder charge. Got into an argument over seating in the stadium stands, which escalated when Anthony stabbed Metcalf in the chest with a pocket knife. So you say a pocket knife. It's a pocket knife. It wasn't in his pocket. It was in his book bag. So if it was a pocket knife, why wasn't it in his pocket? Everyone here, state prosecutor refused to charge Channel 11. Yeah, the state of Minnesota decided to not charge anybody for that riot in the church. So they basically are just saying people are above the law in Minnesota. Minnesota does not charge leftists. That's what they said. That's what they declared. Minnesota does not charge leftists. That's what they declared. They said, Mama, I do declare, we do not charge leftists in Minnesota. It's a switchblade. Yeah. I'm way late. Good evening, I think it's supposed to say. Well, thank you for being here, not that Karen. The witness said Anthony provoked and was the aggressor. While provoking, Anthony had the knife in his hand inside the backpack. Yeah, you can't say touch me and see what happens or anything like that. We learned that from the Dumpster Bros. You guys remember that case about a year or two ago? The father and son that said, I doubt it. Take your swing. Take your swing. And the father went to prison. Trials expected to last approximately 2 weeks. Done for the day. Judge dismissed the jury. Court will resume at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. 445 people under the tent. Defense attorney Mike Howard clarified that there were about 20 people under the tent when the stabbing happened, a mixture of both boys and girls. So, that doesn't make sense. He said the Liberty tent was getting pretty crowded because people were hiding from the rain. The witness also agreed that it seemed like Anthony knew at least one person who was seated under the tent. Defense pointed out the witness agreed that Anthony was seated near the middle of the tent with other people around him. The defense seems to be using cross-examination to point out to the teenage witness the differences between their testimony in court and the statements they gave to police, as well as the location where people were sitting or standing. Anthony remained expressionless as teens testified. He seems to be looking down most of the time, not looking at the witnesses. Metcalf's family appeared emotional, consoling one another. At 4:30, Memorial student testifies. Am I going backwards? Should I be going in the opposite direction? We're reading it backwards. I don't know. The next witness was a 17-year-old student who plays football and runs track. He testified the Metcalf twins had been somewhere else, possibly warming up at the concession stand, then came back to the tent. When they got back, they talked to people at the front of the tent, and they saw Anthony. The student said it was starting to rain, and he recalled seeing Anthony behind Memorial section of bleachers. He dabbed someone up and was minding his own business. The witness said that Metcalf asked him to leave nice at first, and then things heated up from there. He said, I remember hearing Anthony say, touch me and see what happens. And Anthony was in the wrong tent, was asked repeatedly to leave. Yeah, but see, the people that are trying to represent this as like, oh, he's like what's her face? Rosa Parks, you know. He's not going to have to sit in no back of the bus. Sherry, thank you so much, Sherry, for the 10. Thank you so much, Sherry, for the 10 on PayPal. Thank you so much, Sherry. With that, that means, folks, we're just $25 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. We're so close, just 25 away. We got about, 45 minutes, 40 minutes left of the show. If we don't make it, I think we're going to make it tonight. We all real Karens stick together defending the truth. They are misrepresenting the testimony. You think so? This is the write-up from, I don't know. The witness also saw Anthony's hand in the backpack and hear him tell Metcalf, don't touch me. The witness said he was worried because it appeared Anthony was holding something. The show you did last time with Good Logic hit home for me as I lost my Down syndrome brother about 2 years ago. He passed at his 30th birthday on the same day. Oh my God, freedom change. I'm so sorry to hear that. That show was upsetting last night, the stuff with those people. I want, you see, I've known people with Down syndrome. I don't know why anybody would think they don't, that they're not happy. They're happy people. They enjoy life. I mean, look at Rob's brother, Joey. He's very happy. He enjoys life, all the stuff he does. I mean, why would anyone want to steal that from that person, that a chance for life? I don't get it. I saw a real in-depth story of how prosecutors fabricated evidence for internet porn charges, took the guy $30K and 2 years to clear his name, got steamrolled. Wow, West Virginia, that's horrible. Rosa Parks was a photo op. Yeah. Enviously happy. Yeah. It's going to tear that couple apart. I didn't say anything on Joe's show last night, Boom Boom, but I did notice there seemed like a different emotions between the husband and wife, or the man and the woman, whatever. I think they're married. But the woman seemed generally busted up, but then she made comments too that kind of seemed like maybe it was more about like she felt bad for herself, not about the baby. And the guy just seemed like, oh, well, we're going to do this and then go like this, and then we'll try again. He loved life and everyone around him, always happy. That's fantastic. I mean, fantastic that he loved life and everything. It's terrible that he passed at such a young age. Duck Fat has gifted a membership. Thank you, Duck Fat, for the gifted membership. And Freedom Chain has received the gifted membership. Thank you, Duck Fat, for the gifted membership to Freedom Chain. Please, if the rash is starting to bother you, you can go ahead and apply ointment, and it should go away in 30 days. Yeah, you noticed it too. Big difference. The guy was too cold. It was kind of sleep. It was very like, oh, the dude was the one who was like, no, we're not going to do this. And then also, when you found out that this guy was running around bragging about how, oh, I forgot to do the goal. So we're down 20 away, folks, just $20 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. The way the guy spent all this money with the dog that had no kidneys, it was weird. It was weird. So, yeah, so he recalled seeing Metcalf touch Anthony on his shoulder with two hands, kind of moving him, and then Anthony stabbed him in the chest. Does the Ukraine bill lock Trump in? What kind of Republicans vote for this? No, because Trump can veto it. I don't think it's going to make it through the Senate, but even if it does, Trump can veto it, and they don't have the votes to overcome a veto. What's it say? Derek says that Mitch Illich, the owner of the Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Tigers, and Little Caesars Pizza, paid Rosa Parks rent for the last 30 years of her life. Where were the black people for her? Yeah. Republicans who get kickbacks. Yeah, probably. Good to hear. Well, that's my opinion. He said he didn't think there would be a fight because Metcalf was a bigger guy and was trying to be nice about it. But he said Anthony wasn't cooperating or listening. He described Anthony as getting worked up. The teen said he didn't know Anthony like the students before him. He testified that he didn't think the action was self-defense. He didn't think Metcalf wanted to fight that day. Under cross-examination, the teen admitted that he was worried about what might happen next, and he did take Anthony's warning seriously because he saw Anthony's hand in the bag. That's not self-defense, though. You can't tell somebody that, like, oh, touch me and see what happens. You can't. That's not self-defense. That's provocation. That is provocation. Was Little Caesars around back then? Little Caesars has been around since the 80s. I think it's sort of like, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Rosa Parks died during the Obama administration. Someone might want to fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure she died during the Obama administration. Rosa Parks. You really should listen to what Andrew Bustamante says about Afghanistan. Pizza. I'm just saying they use Rosa Parks anytime they need to use her, but didn't give a crap about her when she was alive. The witness admitted he stood up when Metcalf stood up because he didn't want there to be a fight. He agreed that Metcalf was standing. He was standing. Metcalf's brother was standing, but Anthony was sitting. You also heard Mother Teresa was not what we think either. It's possible. She moved to Metro Detroit after the bus stuff. Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, with the 5 gifted memberships. Wow. It says here that Roger Wood, 5228, received a gifted membership. Roger Wood and Robin Hood, U.S., received a gifted membership. Vanilla Gorilla, haven't seen that name in a while, received a gifted membership. Camelot, 331, Cody received a gifted membership. Well, Cody, it's good to know you're subscribed to my channel. And Big Ray, 619, all received gifted memberships. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Jonathan Marcus for the 5 gifted memberships. And thank you to all the people who became new members. Yes. It says Rosa Parks died October 24th, 2025. Okay. I thought it was Rosa Parks died. For some reason, I thought it was during the Obama administration. I'm sorry. I was a little off by a few years. My bad. I make mistakes. With that, we are now $90 away, folks. Just $90 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. That's right. Just 90 away from a second additional hour. As soon as the goal expires there on the YouTube, I will update the goal on YouTube. But on the scroll on the bottom, it always tracks the amount we're away from the next goal. Totally agree. I just didn't know that Little Caesars was paying. Yeah, the guy from Little Caesars was a really good guy. Like, and his thing, like, if you ever look at, like, let me fix the camera for Bella. If you ever look at, there's a documentary about him, a good documentary. I think it was done by Count Dankula, if I'm not mistaken, did a Little Caesars one. Or no, it was, I'm sorry, not Count Dankula. It was done by the Fat Electrician. The Fat Electrician did a great one on him. Talking about all the stuff he did. And he just never really cared about, he was a Marine. He was a Marine veteran. And he also didn't care really about making money. He just wanted people to be able to afford the pizzas. And it was all owned by him. It wasn't like a franchise type of thing. It was all owned by him. The Little Caesars is the name the founder's wife had for his wang. I wish I was joking. They never said it was the name. It was the wife's nickname. We think that was it. I never get a membership. Well, you have a membership already. YouTube can kiss my butt. You already have a membership, Great Eagle. You are a member. You got one before. Magilla Gorilla. Yeah. Rosa Parks was selected to play the role on the bus. Pizza was part of Little Caesar's ad campaign because they used to give 2 pizzas for 1. Yes. Also, he had a Little Caesar. Maybe. She was all about, I was alive then. She was all about free travel and charity for herself. Could be. Nothing is scarier than a big out of focus monster like Bigfoot. There you go. I got to fix Bella's camera. She's like stretching out. Is she trying to mess with the cat? Bella, what you chewing on, your paw? Bella girl. Hey, what are you chewing on your paw? Knock it off, please. Don't chew on your paw. The Fat Electrician video is great about it. I think his secondary channel is called The Fat Files. Yeah, it's really good. I never read the scroll on the bottom. Sorry, thanks. I know. Yeah, it's always going to be on the bottom. I'm going to say where we're at, where we stand. So yeah, I would recommend The Fat Electrician is a great channel. I watch fascinating open-ended subjects. I love watching The Fat Electrician. He's got great stuff. Great stuff. He went and further described Metcalf's next action as a grab with 2 hands that knocked Anthony backwards. He testified that's when he saw Anthony's hand come out of the bag. Love the Bella look. I'm not doing nothing. Yeah, she does that. Bella's like, whatever, I'm busy. Yeah. Bella, what are you doing? Hey, Bella. Why are you chewing your paws? Come here. What are you doing? Want a treat? You want a treat? You want a treat? I'll get you a treat if you want one. You want a treat? Yeah, she wants a treat. She wants a treat. I'll get her one. I get her a treat. Hold on. OCD Jim. Nah. The Fat Electrician's video on the Finnish soldier on meth is hilarious. Yes, he's got a lot of great videos. I love Down syndrome, babies, and people. Yeah, I love all people. I don't want anybody. Amazon getting slower and more expensive. Yeah. Definitely. Let me see if I can fix her stuff here. Bella has OCD. Yeah. I like scammer payback. That's good stuff too. Give her treat, please. She did. She got two. She got 2 treats. Elon Musk is going to become the first trillionaire. Yes, he is. He's going to become the first trillionaire. He's really close, actually, right now. Yeah. The House passing Democrat bills have pretty much turned it over to Jeffries. But pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Like they're basically like letting the Democrats control the House. Is where we're at. That's where we're at. They're controlling the House. We call them cookies here. All you had to say was cookie time. Well, she knows treat. She knows the word treat. She's staring at me now that I said treat. You see? I said it too many times. Look at her. She's staring at me. Is amnesty next? It better not be. When is the Republicans going to vote Rhino Thune on a Senate leader seat? I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. So a student who recently graduated took the stand. She was competing in the track meet that day for Liberty, which had a tent set up right next to Memorial. She described the weather, saying it was raining really hard for a few minutes, then drizzling. She had, what drew your attention? She said Anthony and Metcalf were having a verbal argument. She recalled Anthony saying, "If you want me to move, you have to move me." She testified that Anthony was more aggressive than Metcalf. Unlike some of the previous witnesses, she said she did think a fight was about to break out, but she testified that she didn't think Metcalf wanted to fight. The teen testified that she didn't think the fight had anything to do with race. She also became emotional on the stand while recalling seeing Metcalf bleeding. Wow. You're going to go for water again? Seriously? Does Bella have food allergies? Yeah, she does. Like, it got to be really weird. Like, if she gets, like, she loves chicken, but chicken makes her, like, any type of chicken. Any type of chicken makes her really itchy. And so, I have to always tell my grandson to not feed her his chicken nuggets because he likes to give her his chicken nuggets. Last year I was at my son's for 5 months after surgery. Got to spend the last couple of months with your son's dog's life. Well, that's good. Water has vitamin P. 2 lives ruined. It is. You think the dogs itch and lick because they're spraying the skies? It's possible. I need my Tesla stock to go back up. It's down a lot since the last couple of days, under 400. It will. It will. A lot of that stuff is just the market in itself is being weird. So Dorian Cross, the defense pointed out some discrepancy between her testimony in court and statements she gave to police about what she heard versus heard through gossip. Oh. The next witness was 17-year-old rising senior whose father was recently murdered in California. He's a running back for Memorial High School football team. What the hell? He told jurors Metcalf was his team captain in football and was a leader, described him as someone who believed in him. The witness again walked through the events that happened. He testified that he was putting on his shorts when he saw Metcalf talking to Anthony. He described Metcalf as Anthony, and said Anthony was trying to provoke him. Oh, he was asking Anthony who he was and said Anthony was trying to provoke him. The witness testified Metcalf said something to the effect of, "Dude, I'm not going to fight you at a track meet. And did you think a fight was going to happen?" He said, "No, because Austin said I'm not going to fight you at a track meet." Those were exact words. Like the student witnesses before him, the teen said Anthony was the aggressor, and it did not appear to be an act of self-defense. Can someone please control my drinking, please? Well, he said the impression that Anthony was trying to blend in with the crowd after the stabbing. Under cross-examination, the defense showed a diagram of the bleachers and for the witness to indicate where everyone was sitting or standing. The attorney emphasized that Metcalf was standing and Anthony was sitting. He was sitting with his hand in the bag. Witness reenacted the shove and the soldier Metcalf gave Anthony and said at that point, Anthony stood up and stabbed him. The past few witnesses have slightly different descriptions of the strength of Metcalf's push or shove. Some would say it was with 2 hands, while others say it was with 1 hand. See, well, this is part of the problem. A lot of people don't realize, too, the least reliable testimony, the least reliable stuff in cases is witness testimony because everybody sees stuff differently. You know, eyewitness testimony is some of the least reliable. Metcalf's coach left him in charge of the tent. When the defense asked about the athletes from different schools mingling, the witness acknowledged that sometimes it happens, but he says typically coaches will tell their students to leave the tent if they're from a different school. A 16-year-old rising junior took the stand. I don't know what's a rising junior. What does that mean? Like, I mean, they're going up to, is that what it means that they're going up to junior or going up to senior? DeSantis outlawed chemtrails. Then I started seeing them again in Martin County. Now they're gone. So I don't know what the hell is going on with that. If it's not varied, it's rehearsed. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If everybody's got the same exact testimony, it's definitely rehearsed. While the coach went after a casserole. Really? That's a junior sprinkled with yeast. So they're rising. Oh, I wonder now. Here's the thing. Is the yeast been bromated? Is it bromated yeast? Yeah. A shove happened, everyone said. Why did the number of hands matter? I don't know. I mean, so if shoving something, like, I don't know. Like if he pushed him down on the ground, even then, I don't think that's stab worthy. He testified on the morning of the track meet. He helped set up the tent, called a home base for us. Remember, Anthony walked up sitting under the tent. What did you think when he sat there? I was questioning why he was there. He said he wondered if Anthony had friends there. He told jurors it's weird for students to come to other tents. He said once Anthony sat down, the teen said he heard Metcalf ask why he was there. He said Metcalf asked him multiple times to leave, but he did not. Anthony said several times that he had something in his bag, and the teen testified that the knife had already been opened because there was no way he could have stabbed Metcalf that fast. Well, I mean, sounds like this is a lot of like, I don't know why they're letting teens talk about these things. Like, how would they know? Is the teen? I'm not saying this to be a jerk. I'm just saying, like, normally, unless the judge unless the attorneys don't want to come off like jerks, like normally they would object and say, like, objection, Your Honor, there's no way that he has any experience. He's not a knife expert. He doesn't know. He can't testify how long it takes to open a knife and stuff like that. Yeah, everyone with team competition experience knows you would never infect the other team's tents. Yeah. In high school football, rising and reverse to grade level, a student will enter in the upcoming school year. Okay. Is the jury sequestered? No. As far as I know, it's not. Did the state ask, did either Austin or Carmelo get angry? He says, not angry, but more frustrated. He said he didn't know why it escalated so fast. He said that he testified that Anthony got more aggressive the more he was asked to leave. Did it appear Austin wanted to fight? He said no. When asked why he thought Anthony was bluffing about having something in his bag, the teen said it was because I would never think someone would have a knife at a track meet. Was anyone on their feet because a fight was going to break out? Teen said no. Would people be standing if they thought a fight was going to break out? He said, yes, sir. Recording on cell phones. Teen said if the altercation did not look like self-defense, he said that Anthony was aggressor and wanted to provoke the fight. I mean, see, all this stuff to me, though, I'm like, I don't know, like, why are they letting laypersons talk about what looks like self-defense? I don't understand it. Like, I thought you have to have experts to testify what's self-defense and what's not. They had a year to speculate. Yeah. Under cross-examination, the defense attorney asked the 16-year-old about recorded statements he gave at the police station. He admitted that he was able to communicate and text other teammates while waiting to be interviewed. That's how he found out Metcalf had died. He also admitted that he saw Anthony greet someone under the tent who he allegedly knew. Did the other student ever say he knew Carmelo Anthony? No, not when Carmelo Anthony was questioned about why he was there. The teen said Anthony was under the tent for just a few minutes before he was questioned. Metcalf was the first to question him, and then everybody else did. Defense attorney Tony Shook asked the teen to read from the transcript of his police interview. And then the transcript said it was Austin and Hunter telling Carmelo to leave. Was Austin asking where Carmelo was from? Anything like that? No, sir. When asked if he heard, well, aren't they wearing fucking uniforms? Aren't they wearing uniforms that say what school they're with? Not sequestered, probably seeing approach is common sense. That's a fallacy in your opinion, appeal to authority, expert. Well, no, I'm saying, but in trials, there's things that a layperson can testify to, and then there's things they can't, like whether or not the students believe it was self-defense is not, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't think that was something that was allowed. Hey, Jim, I saw dark girls at McDonald's. One lady inside got killed by gun cause of wrong order. Yeah. Yeah, that can happen. The state has 48, I think, witnesses. Pretty sure they'll have an expert on self-defense. It's so sad that we've become a society that's more interested in recording on their cell phones than attempting to help someone. Yeah. He wasn't there to compete. Carmelo Anthony wasn't there to compete. He was just there hanging around. Why was he even under the tents and everything? Why was he doing on the field with them? He should have been in the stands then. It almost sounds premeditated as he was there to cause trouble. That's possible. Carmelo was wearing the other team's colors and high school name and logo. Well, that's what I thought. I thought that's how they knew he wasn't supposed to be there. When asked if he heard Anthony warn Metcalf several times that he had something in his bag, the team replied, yes. That's premeditated. Don't they understand it, that this is insanity? That what the defense is doing? Like, oh, but he warned him that he had something in his bag, so it's on him. FAFO. No, that's not how it works. The tents were in the stands? They weren't on, like, the side? Like, what? Huh. The fence questioned the teen about the size difference. Metcalf outweighed Anthony by about 50 or 60 pounds. The teen admitted that maybe he could be considered intimidating. Oh. A second teen testified he was sitting right next to Anthony in the bleachers. Did it look like Austin was looking to pick a fight? No, sir. Did it look like Carmelo was looking to pick a fight? Yes, sir. Did this look like self-defense to you? No, sir. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way, but maybe this is normal. But I'm just saying, in any of the cases I've ever seen that I've seen televised self-defense cases, they've never had people that were just witnesses talking about if it looked like self-defense before. The tents are just tarps for the shade, Dalu. Well, I thought that's where they store their stuff, where they like keep all their stuff. Maybe there's a girl they were both interested in involved. It doesn't matter. He admitted to doing it. Still, you never go to other teams' tents or a bench or whatever the other team waiting in any sport. Okay. He testified several teammates told Anthony, you probably shouldn't be here. You need to leave our tent. Anthony told Metcalf, touch me and find out. Student said no one tried to gang up or mob Anthony. He tried as a minor pushing at most. It's open like a trade show thing. The offense was already there. Wow. Carmelo Anthony was present at the high school track meet in Frisco, but he was not competing. He was there to watch. And the other guy was competing. Wow. The tents are in the stands or under them. The law defines what's self-defense. Well, yeah, the law does. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't know why they're letting high school kids say what's self-defense. To me, it just seems weird. That's where they store their personal belongings while they compete. Well, that's what I thought. What's the status of Iran peace deal? Trump zigzagging all over the place. I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about the peace deal today at all. Well, I should say. There is some stuff. We might get to it. We'll see. I was on a track team in high school. Usually have tents like that because there's usually no shelter from the sun or rain at long events. Who was provoking? Carmelo Anthony. Testified Anthony had a backpack in his lap with his hand in it. Thought Anthony was bluffing when he put his hand in his bag. He didn't realize Anthony had stabbed Metcalf until he saw Anthony toss something up in the bleachers. He didn't realize it was a knife until later. He said he heard Metcalf say, oh my God. Did anyone gang up on him? No. Under cross-examination, Tim demonstrated to defense how the deadly encounter went down. He said Metcalf, who was standing in front of Anthony, pushed Anthony with both hands on his shoulder. Anthony swayed back, and his hand came up out of his backpack. Anthony then leaned forward and stabbed him. Said he didn't see the knife. But I thought they all had tents for their own teams. Well, that's what I thought, but he wasn't on a team. He wasn't on any team. Let's see. General surveillance video. Oh, okay. Anything on Ilhan Omar yet? Not really. She just, for whatever reason, Ilhan Omar was the only Democrat that did not vote with the Democrats and the Rhino traders to send more money to Ukraine. All right, I'm going to try to get through this real quick because I got a whole heap of other stuff I want to get through. So she testified, the 70 million criminalist with the Frisco Police Department said, The knife and blade was 3.5 inches long. So the resource officer, it was a folding knife. Yeah, I saw other people were trying to claim that it was a cleat knife, like it was something to pick dirt out of your cleats. It was just this little thing to pick the dirt out of your cleats. It was a lie. He was on Team Psycho. Wimpy Teams created. Went to the bus. Law of self-defense applies here. Well, I mean, yeah, law of self-defense applies everywhere. But the thing is that you've got to have it's got to be reasonable, and it's not reasonable to stab somebody for pushing you. You know, Stabby was on a different sports team, but not track and field. Okay. All right. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. This is the tent. So it wasn't like in the bleachers per se, like it was in front of the bleachers, because it's like I don't see any like benches like right there. I mean, is it over a couple benches? Maybe. Is there chairs? But it doesn't look to me like there's any benches like under the tent. Says, oh, the surveillance video has been revealed. It could totally shift the verdict. Well, that's not what I heard. I heard it doesn't show anything. Here's a better picture. Force has to be proportional. Yes, it has to be proportional. And you can't, like, the whole thing too is you got to have innocence. So you got to have like go look up the criminal U.S. statute for that state to know it. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not looking it up. I remember the story when it first came out. Anthony was on suspension from school when this happened, but no one brings it up now. All you hear is a model student. Wasn't there reports? Like, I don't know. I remember reading reports saying that he was suspended for pulling a knife on someone. Wasn't that the case? I don't understand how someone sitting under a tent makes someone want to start stabbing. Yeah, I don't. There's a video. Well, there's a video. There's a surveillance video, but from what I understand, it doesn't really show anything. It basically disproves the defense's argument that that they jumped him, because you just see one person talking. Next thing you know, people scream and run. That's what you see. You don't see really, can't make anything out, but he wasn't getting like ganged up on by a bunch of people. Never heard the suspension thing. Yeah, like that was when the story first broke. That was reported. But then it's like, and that like other people saying he had pulled knives on people in school. Suspended or removed from the team. Something like that. Something like that. That barely looks like a tent, like a Wimbledon tennis competition shade tent. You can't approach a competitor in a tent technically. Coaches said the tents are like locker rooms. Yeah, that's what they said. I don't know. So they're going to keep going. This has a better picture. Let's see. Okay. All right. This is a better picture. Let me use this one. So it does look like there was tents on the bleachers, like this, over the bleachers, like this. All right. So here's the tent. So it was under this, right, the memorial tent. So I guess there was a couple benches under the tent, and this one was over all these. The bleachers at Frisco, Texas Stadium, where Austin Metcalf was fatally stabbed. All right. Well, let's hope that justice is served. He went after a cockpit. I remember he was suspended for having a knife at school, and the one girl said he was known for fighting, but I never know he pulled it on anyone. Or maybe that was it. He was suspended for having a knife at school. I know it was something with suspended, something with a knife. It was a while ago. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. All right. And then we're going to get to this next story here. Nearly 50 illegal aliens were detained by ICE in a 2-year South Carolina fake ID probe. So they were investigating people that keep using these fake IDs, getting jobs. And so then they raided somewhere. We're down, man. People leaving like crazy. Yes, please hit like, please subscribe to the channel. We've been going for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So that means the goal on YouTube has expired. I'm going to restart a new goal on YouTube. And please ask that the over 200 people who are here maybe hit the like button. Like almost 50% of the people here have not hit the like button. That's insane. I mean, what, you don't like it that much? You're not going to hit the like button? I mean, come on. Yeah, so we got this. We're going to reset a new goal for another hour. All right. New goal, another hour. All right. And the way goal works is we're 90 away from adding a second additional hour to the show. So just think about it and we'll start a new goal. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So the little shit was looking for a fight. It's possible. Let's hope in our beautiful injustice system. Texas, we got more executions than you in Florida. You're losing your gumption. Well, I don't know, man. I think Florida just executed its like 8th person this year or something like that from what I was reading. DMV getting paid good money for fake IDs? Probably. They're attempting to try this in a court of public opinion, looking for some type of leniency. Well, that's what I think they're trying to do. Oh, the coach's wife worked the concession stand and went to get a crock pot for her. Oh. Detained or arrested? Well, I don't know. I mean, at the time, it was probably detained. You smashed the heck out of the like button. Well, thank you. Thank you. It really helps. So a 2-year investigation into illegal aliens. Why did they say immigrants? They're illegal aliens. They are illegal aliens. All right. With fake identity documents led federal investigators to detain 48 workers at a South Carolina metal casting business, and 6 people are facing state charges, including 2 top managers at the plant. So, yeah, so they finally started arresting the people that are hiring them. Bernstein von Seelen Casting Company. Arrested. The plant manager. Arrested. The HR coordinator. Wanted fugitive. Company officials were indicted by a state grand jury along with 4 other people accused of making and selling fake U.S. and state identification using information from identity thefts. So not only were these people employing illegal aliens, they were motherfucking making and selling fake IDs. That's right. 83 needs to hit that like you slackers. The German company name. Yeah, get that, HR. Yeah, that's right. Get it. Get her done. Get her done there, dudes. That's right. We used to call them illegal aliens. Well, I still do. Immigration customs officers took workers into custody on immigration violations, and the company's plant manager and human resource director were arrested on allegations they knowingly hired illegal aliens. Illegal aliens. Well, the bus driver turned on the AC when we had meets, and no one got on the bus but the team. That's where we gave each other nicknames. Illegal alien, it's no fun being an illegal alien. That was a song in the 80s, I believe, from Phil Collins, if I'm not mistaken. That they also charged them a percentage of their wages for getting them the job. Oh, well, they need to go to prison then. Definitely prison. I just call them illegals. Otherwise, I think of Martians. The company officials were indicted by a state grand jury, along with 4 other people accused of making and selling false U.S. and state IDs, using information from identity thefts. Well, it'd be nice if there was a video to go along with this. Dorks. We want to send a message. This isn't about going after people who are trying to feed their family. I don't care if they're just trying to feed their family or not. If they're using stolen identities and they're illegally working, they need to be arrested and sent to prison and then home. This isn't going after companies or businesses who unknowingly hire illegals. It's about going after something larger, something more pernicious, something disgusting, treasonous behavior. Creating fake social security cards, fake driver's licenses, fake immigration documents. Officials at a Bernstein von Seelen did not immediately return messages. The two company managers were expected to appear at the Richland County Courthouse in Columbia on Thursday to face charges of criminal conspiracy and identity fraud to obtain employment. It was not immediately clear if they had lawyers who could respond to the allegations. Greenville, South Kakalaki is a gorgeous town. That is where all of this illegal stuff occurred. Yes. Yes. The first thing they did was a crime by not entering our country the right way. That is true. That is true. Bernstein von Seelen, founded in 1985, is a metal casting business using different alloys of copper, brass, and bronze to make an array of components, according to its website. It's located in Abbeville County, population of 25,000 in western South Kakalaki, not far from the Georgia line, about 90 miles west of Columbia. ICE officials said they were reviewing the immigration status of the 48 workers who were detained, who said they included people who have previous encounters with ICE, and some were previously ordered deported. Really, they can just commit crimes in their home countries. They don't need to come here to do it. That's right. If you're stealing from someone else's family to feed your family, you're doing it wrong. Bingo, bango, boingo. The roach is on the wall. We don't need no raid. Let the motherfucker crawl. Don't be making fun of our accents. I'm not making fun of accents. I like to read stories. I try. I fail, but I try to do it in the accent of the way the people from that area would talk. That's why when I talk about the Boston and I say I'm going to have the car and come around the parkway, you see, and we're going to come here and we're going to have some chowder. If you need a legal pathway to citizenship, you are an illegal alien. Got to work on that twang a bit. I know. I'm not very good at it. It happens. It happens. I sound like a damn Yankee. Jim is entertaining us. You ain't from Georgia. I ain't from Georgia. Georgia's on my mind. Ooh, a Marine veteran fights off 4 hooded teens who try to carjack him at broad light in daylight. I used to be able to get a really good one through Cricket DMV employees for about $400 quite some time ago. Never used it. Just let 18 points expire. Too much racing. 69 SS396. That's nice. That's nice. I'm from Chicago. That's right. Are you part Italian and Jewish there? New Orleans. Yes, teens. Jim is a Polak. Louisiana. Technically, I'm a Slovak, but I'm also a bunch of other stuff on my mom's side. Swedish, Dutch, British, Canadian. I wonder, technically, since my great-grandmother, great-grandmother was Canadian, if that means I could get Canadian citizenship. Not that I would want it. Nolans, yeah. Jim is white. Yes. I am white. You're part Canuck then. It seems that way. I might want to read that one. Oh, cack-a-lack-a, ding-dong, baby. Got the ooh-mow-mow, ooh-ooh-ooh. Where in Chicago? I lived in Schaumburg for a couple of years. I was born and raised on the south side, 79th Street in Pulaski. Are you from the South? I'm from the South too. Nolans. You're Scots-Irish, U.S. Navy veteran. Oh, good. That's awesome. Authorities say the investigation is continuing. State officials began to probe in October 2024. At the time started, local law enforcement were frustrated by the lack of federal enforcement efforts against false identification. So what do you know? The Biden administration was refusing to do anything. They're refusing to do anything about all the fake IDs. If they do accept your Canadian citizenship, you can see great maid service. Wow, I could use somebody to clean up my house. Would I ever want Canadian citizenship? No, I would not accept other citizenship. I don't believe in dual citizenship. I think you can only have loyalty to one country. When I was a youth, we called them wetbacks. Well, we could talk about Operation Wetback. Was implemented by President Eisenhower, good old Ike. And it was an operation to get rid of somewhere around 600,000 or something like that, or 700,000 illegal aliens that were working inside the United States. And Ike was able to do it in 6 months to round them all up and get them out of here. He just used the military to do it. And no one said a fucking word about it. They were fine with it. It was perfectly legal. Perfectly legal for Ike to use the military to round up all the illegals and deport them the fuck out of the country. And that's what he did. My psychology professor was a Czech from East Texas. So he said, yeah, so Biden refused to do shit. What changed? President Trump changed. President Trump came in. They changed the office. They said, we're not going to tolerate this shit anymore. They's got to go. Wednesday's raid was not typical. Immigration raids at businesses have been a relatively small part of deportation campaign. Officials approached the investigation in ways similar to drug probes. Due to polka. Well, no. Officials approached this like a drug probe. Creighton Waters. Oh, man. Yep, he did it. I don't like Creighton Waters was the guy that was part of that Alec Murdaugh case. What music do you like to listen to there? I listen to all musics. I like both types, country and Western. No, I listen to all types of music. I listen to, he was the Murdoch prosecutor. I listen to rock, rap, blues, hip hop, dance music, disco, AC/DC, bagpipes. Yeah, it's played the bagpipes, all that stuff, man. Jazz, blues, R&B, you name it. Both types. Yeah. In my area, there are several with alpine skiing competition realms with 4 passports. 4 nationalities are normal up here. Wow. Yeah, that's a joke from the Blues Brothers. You know, when they go to Bob's Country Bunker and they say, we're the good old Blues Brothers boys band. And he goes, what kind of music you guys all like here? And they go, oh, we like both types, country and Western. We know it's not an accounting error with Illinois, so where's the money? All right. I'll write it in. This is the South Carolina bus illegal aliens hiring network. Managers charge after factory raid. All right, I can't. They're gonna have a song playing. I can't do that. We're gonna get you one way. Well, next week we're gonna find you. We're gonna get you and get you and get you. I went wrong, bing get you by. So Luis Maya, forgery. Hernandez, forgery, identity theft, forgery, identity theft. So they got him.
I never really gave a dang about politics. When I found out what my grandkids would owe one day.
And our top story here tonight at 10. A federal immigration raid in Abbeville County ends with 6 people indicted and 48 more detained.
Now, we covered this story as breaking news yesterday, but tonight we continue.
Fox Carolina's Ashley Listrom joins us live now in studio. So, Ashley, you've been looking at this throughout the day. Today, you were at the facility yesterday, but tonight, what can you tell us about this
And it's
operation?
still, yep, and it was made before unleaded gas, so it still runs good on regular. Just fixed the cigarette lighter. Ass hats in Jersey figured ICE employees leave through the back gate, physically mobbing the vehicles, and no law enforcement at all to clear them. Yeah. Yes, based. Trolling with music. I like it. Forgery is a federal offense in the Greenville, South Carolina case. I believe so. All right, we'll get that. We'll get that.
Well, Justin, Rachel, Operation Ghost Story swept through Abbeville County Wednesday. And investigators say planning for this operation began all the way in the fall of 2024. It ended yesterday with ICE detaining dozens of workers. And tonight, we're hearing from the officials behind it.
We want to send a message that this isn't about going after people who are trying to feed their family. This is about going after something much larger.
Operation Ghost Story was executed Wednesday at Bernstein Von Seelen Precision Casting in Abbeville. In this video, you see dozens of law enforcement officers swarming the facility. Some workers left in handcuffs as ICE detained 48 employees for alleged immigration violations. 2 managers are among the 6 indicted by a state grand jury. Christopher Ramey, the plant manager, faces multiple charges, including identity fraud to obtain employment. Sandy Willis, the human resources coordinator, faces the same charge. Attorney General Alan Wilson says those managers knowingly hired illegal immigrants to work at the plant and forged federal immigration documents and Social Security cards.
We cannot ignore conspiracies to steal identities and use those stolen identities to fabricate and manufacture fake federal immigration documents, as well as fake Social Security cards, fake driver's licenses. We have to go after that.
The 8th Circuit solicitor also weighed in on the operation.
The state grand jury, the attorney general's office, our federal partners with Homeland Security and ICE all worked so well together to pull off a very strong operation.
But not everyone agrees with the approach. 3 Democratic candidates for
Of
South
course,
Carolina
Democrats
governor
don't like
pushed
it.
back on the debate stage Wednesday night, some pointing directly to Abbeville.
But what we can't have is for government to weaponize things like ICE and snatch people off the street.
ICE should not impose themselves into our communities unless they are requested.
And the way it's being done right
Oh,
now,
requested.
it's not being done safely. We're seeing ICE go through the streets right now. Today, they were in Abbeville, South Carolina, conducting raids.
Wow.
Now, we're told that this investigation is ongoing and certain aspects will remain sealed. Now, for an interactive map of ICE arrests right here in South Carolina and the upstate, head to foxcarolina.com. Reporting live in the studio, Ashley Listrom, Fox Carolina News.
Wow.
The system is in the way.
That's crazy. So, yeah. So, as far as I'm concerned, these people those demon rats can all pound sand. So, this is what's going on right now outside the ICE facility in.
Your job.
We're stopping the cars from leaving.
Your job.
Get a job.
Your job.
Get a job.
Your job. Quit your job. Quit your job. Quit your job. Quit your job.
Let the car do its thing.
In Florida,
drive, baby.
In Florida, they could just drive. They could just drive right over in Florida. There's over, I would tell you right now, dude, Biden let in 20 million. During the 4 years Biden was president, 20 million they know came in. There's about 80 to 100 million in the country. And that's a fact. 80 to 100 million illegal aliens in the country. Visa overstays, people who stuck over the border, people who, got let in for some reason, were supposed to leave and didn't. It's way too many. They got to go. Yeah, peel out. Yeah.
Have no soul!
They got shot. They got killed. They got sent to prison. No. Some of them got to work for the U.S. government, but a lot of them come to the right side. You don't need to do this.
And this is all because the people in New Jersey just all of a sudden decided, the state police and the city, they're like, yeah, we're not going to do anything anymore. Fuck you. We're just not going to do anything about it because the left is getting mad at us for actually enforcing the law. They broke one dude's windshield for nudging them. That's crazy. What are you doing, Bella? What are you doing, Bella? What are you doing, Bella? What are you doing over there? You got to go outside or something? What are you doing? Really? You got to go outside? All right. I guess I'm going to take Bella out. Hey, Bella, what's up? I guess she's got to go outside. Yeah. Yeah. The sign is wrong. If they came here illegally, they're criminals. Yes. So I don't know. The one with the sign is a teacher, clearly.
You're worried about work in the morning while you got slaves inside?
Slaves inside. Wow, that's crazy. Where are the ICE agents to clear the way?
There you go. Just plow the road. Plow the road. Oh, they let the other guy go or what? Good. Fuck him. Just go. Just go.
This guy's gonna get hurt, man.
What? They put a damn thing in front of his windshield. Woo! Come on, lower the window. Get that thing off.
That's what I thought. Keep driving, you little bitch. Fuck you. Fuck you. Do something. Do something.
Oh, look, that's that guy that was YouTubing a minute ago.
81, you gross fuck.
I hope I had this in the South, Georgia, or Texas. Oh, absolutely not. Or Florida. Metal Smith, they give it another 5. Looks like crowd of white people bullying a lone African man.
It does. Well, that's what they're doing today. That's what they're doing today. All right, and we got this feel-good story for everybody. I'm starting a James Bond style pepper spray company you can install in your car. That would be great. This is the back gate. Most of the agents covering front is where there was more vandalism. Cops officially yanked last night. Jim, she really gonna need to go now. All right. Yeah. I'll let me see. What is going on here? What is happening? Marine veteran fends off 4 armed teens in brazen daytime carjacking attempt. I'm waiting for this to pop up. See if I can play it. And then I'll take her out. Marine veteran fought off a group of teens who tried to carjack him at gunpoint in broad daylight. Yeko Borda was working on his truck in Oxon Hill. So this is like outside Oxon Hill. That's like by outside of Washington. So here, like this is going to go. This is the guy, Marine veteran. 4 armed teens come to try to carjack him. Doesn't work out the way they think it will. All right. Wow. See, so that's some good stuff, right? All right. All right. So we'll read this story. I'm going to do something against my better judgment. I'm going to find something to play for you guys while I'm gone because this might take a little bit. So let me do this. YouTube. Do this. Come over here. Do this. Oh, wow. I got a whole bunch of tabs open that I don't need open here. Videos. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. That's like a good video to share. Sorry about that. Do this. Do this. I will be right back. I'm going to take Bella out. If you feed Bella 10 pounds of food, she has to go now. Yeah, I'm going to take Bella out real quick. It'll only take a minute here. Wow, man, I'm losing a lot of people here. They're getting really upset. I don't know. Anyone watched yesterday's show, but we talked a little bit about this Colombian woman that was illegally residing in the U.S. for over 20 years. And she received over $400,000 in federal benefits, illegally voted in the 2024 election and everything. We covered all, I covered this yesterday, but there's also now, we covered this. There's a report saying what she did. Colombian woman unlawfully residing in Boston has been indicted by a federal grand jury. Oh, sorry. Oops, my bad. I boomered that. Colombian woman unlawfully residing in Boston has been indicted by a federal grand jury for identity theft offenses, including receiving rental assistance, Social Security, and SNAP, as well as voter fraud under stolen identity. That's what I mean. When people say they're undocumented, what they really mean is they don't have their actual legal documents. They have other people's documents in the vast majority of cases. Stolen Social Security numbers, fake IDs, and then this is what happens. So she was charged in a superseding indictment, one count of false representation of a Social Security number, one count of making a false statement application of United States passport, which is weird. So she tried to get a passport. That's ballsy to try to get a passport. Very, very, very ballsy. Pull this up here. This is a little story about it. An illegal immigrant from Colombia residing in Boston was indicted by a federal grand jury. Oh, well, you know what, Joe? That's probably my fault that YouTube didn't, it's okay that YouTube didn't get the notifications out. That's probably my fault because I wasn't sure if I was going to stream tonight. I was trying to talk to some people to see what their plans were. And I made the link late. And so it only, you have to have the link made on YouTube and out for an hour at least to get alerts to go out. That's just the way YouTube system works. So if you don't have the links out on YouTube for an hour, you're not going to get people coming. Or they won't get notified. Eventually, if you're in the feed, they'll come in your feed. But generally speaking, if they don't get them out, that's what the information that I had said. I've seen said you need to have the link out for an hour for it actually to get the bells to go off. The Amish are cleaning up in the weed industry, are they? Let's see here. Using a stolen identity, was able to obtain 8 state IDs and a Massachusetts real ID. So look at that. She was able to get a Massachusetts real ID. That's a problem because the whole point of the real ID was supposed to prevent stuff like this. But yet she was able to get a real ID. That doesn't make me feel confident about this whole real ID thing. It really doesn't. Really doesn't. DOJ said that Orovio Hernandez fraudulently received about $400,000 in federal benefits. $400,000 in federal benefits. But if you listen to some people, they'll tell you that illegal aliens they don't get federal benefits. That there's no way they can get benefits. But you got to think if people were wise enough and he had enough ingenuity to figure out a way to come into the United States and stay here for years and years and years and work illegally. And they're, because if you're not here and you don't have documentation that gives you the permission to work, like if you're not a citizen of the United States, you come here, you have to have permission. You can't come here on a student visa and get a job. I'm pretty sure. I think you have to have a work permission, even if you're on a student visa to work. If you come here on a tourist visa, you can't work. If you come here illegally, you're not supposed to work. Technically, even if you're here for asylum, I think you still have to get a work permit. So it's not like, and these companies that are hiring these people should be punished more. I mean, there needs to be something that needs to happen to prevent. It's supply and demand. There's a demand for cheap labor because a lot of these corporations, they want to make money. They want to make as much money as possible. So they're going to hire people that they can pay less money. I don't know if anyone's been out and about lately and noticed what you see when you go to a grocery store or a gas station or a McDonald's or any of these places. But generally speaking, you're going to run into a bunch of people that don't sound like they're native-born American. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm not saying anything that they should all, if they're here legally, that's fine. If they came legally, that's great. If they didn't come legally, then that's a problem. Yeah, she received $400,000 in federal benefits, including $259,589 for Section 8 rental housing assistance benefits. Wow. From October 2011 to January 2025, $100,000 in Social Security disability. She was collecting Social Security disability benefits. I mean, that's like the last time I saw numbers, it said there was over 50 million people that are on Social Security disability. I saw a story not too long ago about a whistleblower that worked for one of these companies that when the people come in, the resettlement groups to help the people come in, it was coaching them on what to say in order to receive Social Security disability. Because, if they can come in, they can start claiming these things. Once they start getting on these programs, it's almost impossible to get them out of the country, let alone get them off the programs. It says she also registered to vote and cast a fraudulent ballot in 2024 election. So do we believe she didn't vote in 2020? Or they're just not going to say 2020 because, that might upset some people because, there was that whole thing about 2020. Maybe. According to the DOJ, she was charged with one count of false representation of a Social Security number, one count of making a false statement in an application for a United States passport, one count of aggravated identity theft, 3 counts of receiving stolen government property, stolen government money or property, and 1 count of fraudulent voter registration, 1 count of fraudulent voting. I mean, I'd really like to know, there was a whole thing with a guy from the Doge thing. They were looking at how many illegals were registered to vote, and they were finding, like a lot, just picking numbers, just grabbing names and just looking them through, and they were discovering a lot of people just, so I would probably put the number at over 1 million. From what the stuff I've seen, there's probably well over 1 million illegal aliens registered to vote. There's a lot of states, you get a driver's license, they just automatically register you to vote. Just do it automatically. So, how's everyone going so far? Everyone's okay? Show's good, no problems. And I know there was a couple people in the chat that seemed like maybe they had a bone to pick or Oh, shit. I was muted. Now it's Jimception. I'm sorry. Belly had to go. I'm sorry. I was muted. Sorry. My liver was way too high. Plus, I was blacking out. Got to stop doing what I mean, stepdaughter parents were stupid. Okay, cool. Shouldn't be muted anymore. I'm sorry. I always forget to unmute the button when I come back. Jim's drinking too. Yes, I'm drunk. It shouldn't be muted now. Let me see. Did something change? Did it mess with my sound setting again? It did. Fucking why does Windows keep turning my volume down on my mic? I don't understand this, Windows. How you think you can do this, Windows? What are you doing? Stop it. You didn't have to put that up there. Well, that's okay. Mark Twain said quitting smoking was the easiest thing he'd ever done. He'd done it over 2,000 times. That's right. Bella, much more comfortable. She is. Oh, let me fix the camera too. So, yeah. Bella, now she's chewing on her leg again. Bella. Linux doesn't do that, I'm sure. Bella, hey. Please stop chewing on yourself. Okay? Please? Pretty please? Pretty please? And a struggle broke out. The two attempted carjackers dashed down the street while the other anxiously circled the vehicle. Seconds after the struggle began, his brother ran out of the house to help his sibling fend off the group. A single gunshot rang out as the brothers fought for the gun, but no one was struck. The team surrounded Borda in the bed of his truck with one suspect who was wearing a red, white, and blue sweatshirt. When you take Bella out, hang a mute sign on your mic. I should do something, right? Yeah. Wow, so there's the hole when they were fighting for the gun. Border quitted his Marine Corps hand-to-hand combat training with giving him the instincts and know-how. Yeah. Once a Marine, always a Marine. It took me just a split second. We went to training for the Marines. It came out right in a moment. That's good. So he's fortunate his kid's brothers, his dog Sky, who usually rides in the backseat, weren't in the vehicle at the time. Well, that's good. Good news. All right, on to the next story now. Snapper season dispute tests Trump's drive to loosen fishing rules and deregulate the seas. That's right. Like, you had a federal judge, like the federal government decided that, hey, we're going to let states decide what they want to do in these fisheries. The federal government's not going to be responsible for the fishing seasons in these areas off these states. So Florida and the other states got together and said, hey, red snapper season, it's only a couple weeks. We want to make it longer than a couple weeks. And a federal judge in Washington, D.C. has stepped in to tell Florida, you can't do this. So this judge is going to find out real fast that he don't be making rules in Florida. He don't be making the rules. I reckon it killed him. Wow. The conflict landed in court just before the season was about to begin on May 22nd. So miles from the coastline, Chris Kemp wrestled a fish 150 feet below, reeling and pumping until the 10-pound red snapper finally surfaced aboard the Jody Lynn 2. Send me a photo of Bella and I'll make you something you can put on screen. Had to take Bella outside. Be right back. Okay. All right. But the moment of triumph was fleeting as Kemp prepared a photograph for his catch. The charter boat captain swiftly intervened, driving a specialized tool into the fish's gas-filled bladder, a procedure mandated by federal law to enhance its survival chances post-release. Send it overboard, the captain demanded, extinguishing his hopes of bringing the prize fish home. It encapsulated a simmering legal battle pitting recreational anglers like Kemp against commercial fishermen and environmental groups. The dispute has abruptly halted what was anticipated to be the longest red snapper season in years, highlighting broader tensions surrounding Trump's efforts to deregulate marine environments and loosen fishing regulations. Last I heard, Florida man is required to get a saltwater fishing permit from shore. Come and get me, feds. Have you seen what's going on in California? Are you talking about the voting stuff? Thank you for the 10, Gene. That means we're 80 away, folks. Just 80 away from adding a second additional hour. Just 80 away. We can add a second hour. Thank you. I'm afraid to look. Pat, that was scary to me. I saw the kids at home. I would talk to them. Nonsensical, but they found it too scary. As part of the initiatives, the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, had in May granted state exemptions from certain restrictions under the Magnuson-Stevens Act, the foundational law governing fisheries management. However, a federal judge in Washington intervened at the 11th hour. Like, I don't understand. Here's the thing. Maybe I should ask one of these lawyer guys that I'm friends with this, how the federal government has any fucking control over fishing regulations. Like, what gives them the power to pass this act? Where in the Constitution does it say, oh, the federal government is in charge of fishing? Hilton and Spencer are losing big time. Oh, are you serious? Oh, well, they're stealing it. That's what they're doing. The Atlantic red snapper, prized for its fighting spirit and culinary appeal, faced severe overfishing for a decade. This led regulators in 2010 to drastically limit recreational fishing, often to just a few days annually or even outright bans. Last year, Governor Ron DeSantis spearheaded a movement with officials from Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina to assume management of the recreational Atlantic snapper fishery, framing the endeavor as securing anglers' God-given rights to fish. In response, NOAA issued special permits in May, exempting these states from some legal requirements. Instead of the wholesale winter bottom fishing bans NOAA had proposed last year, the agency established an Atlantic snapper season in 4 states ranging from 39 to 62 days, allowing anglers to keep 1 fish per day. They're being investigated for cheating. Yeah. Is it war yet? It should be. Waterways are a national security issue, I guess. I don't know. Court battle pits recreational anglers against commercial fishermen. The conflict landed in court just before the season was about to begin, with U.S. District Judge Rudolph Contreras issuing an injunction based in part on environmental concerns. Wipes node with tarred hand. Yeah. He relied on estimates from a nonprofit ocean conservatory suggesting recreational catches could reach up to 485,000 in Florida during the expanded season, 20 times the number landed catch allowed. Snapper's delicious. It is. This is ridiculous. Yeah, Contreras is a jerk. Yes, he is. What do I think about the Chicago Bears going to Indiana? I think they should have went to. I think they should have went completely somewhere else. Like really, really. I thought they were going to go. Like they do own. The Bears did own what used to be called the Sportsman's Park, I believe, in Cicero. That I thought they were going to go with. They bought it. It used to be a horse track. I believe. I believe they did buy that years ago, and I thought that's where they were going to go. There was also talk of them going to like Schaumburg or somewhere. Remember when cod was plentiful and cheap? Not anymore. Kemp learned about the order from a text message sent by a friend. Originally, he thought it was a joke, said Kemp. The ruling sparked immediate backlash. Florida wildlife officials denounced the decision as the work of a rogue federal judge, while some fishermen involved in the lawsuit reported receiving threats after DeSantis falsely accused them of trying to commandeer the quota all for themselves. One of the plaintiffs, a North Carolina fisherman, said commercial fishermen are struggling to survive amid rising costs and competition from imported seafood. He worries that expanded recreational harvest could leave too few snapper available when the commercial season begins later this year. Remember halibut? You hear about the lady fisherman? She came to shore with a big red snapper. Rahman's only 3 points behind Spencer. They're cheating. They're cheating. The stock is rebounding, but scientists urge caution. Dispute stems in part from disagreements over the health of the fishery. NOAA estimates that roughly 1/4 of released snapper die, despite techniques designed to improve their survival, like puncturing the bladder to reduce gases that build up in their bladder when pulled up, hindering them from returning to the ocean's depth where they lived. Yet, many fishermen argue the stock is thriving. Kemp's group hooked about a dozen fish within 40 minutes of arriving to a reef off Florida's coast. To be completely honest, we've never seen an unhealthy stock, said Haley Stevens, who with her husband operates Sea Spirit, a charter in Ponce Inlet, Florida. Scientists countered that the abundance of younger fish is misleading and point to biological sampling that indicates most fish being caught haven't reached their peak reproductive maturity. I live inland, so we get shitty seafood here. It's tricky because this is a rebuilding fish stock. So people out there in the water are seeing more of the fish than they have seen in a long time. So it gives them the sense that everything is great. No one declined to comment on a snapper dispute, citing ongoing litigation. However, it said that working with fisheries managers across the country to better prioritize work, and that restoring American seafood competitiveness, executive order signed last year by President Trump. The judge, in his ruling, faulted Florida and the other states for declining to provide their own harvest projections. Officials, however, argued that existing federal estimates were unreliable and would eventually be replaced with improved state-collected data. I mean, how is a judge in D.C. doing this is the question that I would ask. Like, how does he have any authority over this? Bella, what are you doing? Why are you standing there? Perch and bluegill is delicious too if you get a bunch. Yeah, perch is fantastic. Bluegill too. Like I grew up going to Wisconsin in the summertime to a cottage in Wisconsin in the summer for a month or two, and we used to catch just tons of perch and bluegill, and used to go to Lake Geneva a lot to fish. In this place called Shabona. Perch is great. It sucks because the bigger they are, the worse they taste. Yes, the small ones taste really. The perch about this big taste really good, but you get two nice fillets out of them. Boop, boop, boop. They built a fish farm 40 miles off the coast about 10 years ago. Fish breed exponentially. There's so many fish to go around. Yeah. The judge in his ruling faulted Florida. Well, he can suck it. This is just free press. It says fishermen prepared for the longest red snapper season. A court order stopped it. But that's a nice red snapper. That's a red snapper. That's like 6 meals right there or more. That red snapper that this guy's holding would feed 6 to 8 people. Easy. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. Is just more shit. Just like no matter what it does, Trump does, no matter what Trump does, these TDS judges like Contreras are going to step in to try and stop it. Judge halted the longest snapper season. Didn't Biden stop the shark hunting? Probably. He's an ass. Feds have sovereignty over navigable waters. Oh, whatever. They shouldn't, though. I would tell them to pound sand. Okay, got to go. Tell Bola I said she's a good girl. See you next time. Well, thanks for being here, B-Hops. It's the same story.
Recreational fishermen had been counting down the days.
We originally set this up about 3.5.
I know it was
3.5 months ago. Was to
I thought it was sports
go red snapper fishing on opening day.
In recent years, the red snapper fishing season off the Atlantic coast had been limited to 1 to 2 days. But all that was supposed to change this year.
Today we delivered the huge win for our great fishermen and anglers here in Florida.
Oh,
for years.
No. In Wisconsin, Shabana was in Illinois. It's a place. It was about a 2-hour drive. But the places I used to go in Wisconsin that had a cabin was a place called or cottage was called Little Hills Lake, which was right by Watoma, Wisconsin. Past Fond du Lac. I used to go to the Dells a lot, but Lake Geneva used to go quite a bit with my grandpa. We go fishing there a lot on his boat growing up, and places like that. And Shabana was a place we used to go. It was in Illinois. We could drive to when I was a little younger kid. My family would all go there. We'd drive there, spend a day there. The cousins and uncles and everything. And we would fish and barbecue and stuff and hang out, spend the whole day there. Just basically, crappie, walleye, perch, bluegill, catfish, stuff like that. Snapper on the grill is great. No links. Cactus makes the best grilled salmon with Lulu sauce. Okay, yeah. Do you know where Watoma is? Little Hills Lake. What about Fond du Lac? Welcome to Fond du Lac. It's a perfect town. You can get some booze and you fall on the ground. Suggestion, Bella treats are $8, so it's easy to see. Ameriqua. Well, what do I do? I mean, when she'd get really fat if people were $8 a treat. That would be really fat. Really, really fat.
Our great fishermen have been punished with very short federal fishing seasons despite record high fish populations.
The administration's decision would have extended the season anywhere from 40 to 60 days, depending on the state. It's part of a larger push under President Trump to deregulate fisheries. The only way to keep snapper caught outside the recreational season is to have a special permit for research purposes. Otherwise, any snapper caught must be released.
When he made the announcement, he was expanding that window. We were all excited because we see what we catch every day. And they are by far the most abundant fish that we all catch.
But on the eve of opening day, a lawsuit brought by commercial fishermen whose season begins in July halted the recreational season. And conservationists worry the snapper stock isn't healthy enough to sustain that dramatic of an increase.
We'll be less likely to have a very viable fishery by the time we're allowed in. If you allow 45 vessels targeting on top of all the recreational anglers in our area, we're wondering what's going to be left.
There has been no science shown by the agency that suggests that this would not cause overfishing. It's tricky because this is a rebuilding fish stock right now, so people out on the water are seeing more of the fishery than they have seen in a long time. And so that gives them the sense that like everything is great and we should get to go fishing now. But a lot of the fish are very young, and if we deplete them down by increasing fishing pressure too hastily, then we'll damage the long-term health of the stock.
Wow, the long-term health of the stock.
There it goes. Sit back to the bottom.
I am a fisherman, and I can tell you what I see spending almost every day on the water, and that is that red snapper, for as long as we've been doing it, have not been overfished, have not undergone overfishing.
This is a judge in Washington, D.C., probably doesn't know the first thing about fishing, and they're doing this. It's not a good decision.
NOAA declined to comment on the snapper dispute, citing ongoing litigation. However,
snapper is excellent. Red snapper in particular is excellent. It's just it's super tasty. It's really good, and it is pricey. Like a nice piece of snapper is like $15-20. Also looks like Gruber's prediction Pratt may get knocked out of the mayor's race by Monday is coming true. Wow, that sucks, man. You lost your phone for a minute. Too many regulations. I don't think police officers should be allowed to lie to us during a traffic stop. Whatever happened to public service? Yes, I agree. I agree. Don't lie. No lying. No lying liars that lie. Expert liars. Yes, expert liars. Hey, NASCAR Mo. Hello. Sorry I'm late, but glad to be here. Well, thanks for being here, NASCAR Mo. It's so great to have you here. So great to be here. It's awesome to have you here. Have you here? Haven't you heard about the lonesome loser? Red snapper's awesome, and the grouper is too. Yes. Interesting things. I personally like lane snapper. I think is great. Excellent. Lane snapper. They're a lot smaller. And yellowtail, stuff like that. Don't think I've had red snapper. They get really big fillets. The fillets you can get on a red snapper are huge. Like I like a lot of, there's mangrove snapper. There's what else? Brown snapper. There's red snapper. There's also, what's it called? Like queen snapper. There's a bunch of different snappers. They're all really good. All snappers are good. Grouper's good too. Yeah. Fried grouper is good. Yeah. I like grilled or fried is really good. I love it. I love fish. No tears for Plattner. Why is he going too? Setting slot limits is common to manage fisheries. Yeah, well, what happens around here where I am is they have these boats that have like 4 motors on them, 5 motors on them that go super fast because you have to go about 20 miles out to get to where you can get to snappers. The red snapper is, you have to get out there real far. You get out pretty far. So it takes like an hour to get out there. So they shoot out there as fast as they can, catch the fish because you're like, they limit to like during snapper season, it's like 2 or 3 per person per day. So they go out there, they catch them, they fly back in, they go back out, they get them. But it's super expensive because it's very expensive to get out there and get them. You caught a 27-pound grouper your first deep sea trip. Love the fish too. Yeah. Fried catfish and hush puppies. Yes, I had like I had family that owned a gravel quarry in a place called what's it called again? Outside of Galesburg, Illinois, in that area, and they had quarries. And what they did is after they got the quarries all the pits, basically the gravel pits, they would fill them with water and stock them with catfish because there was gravel bottoms and rock bottom. The catfish had none of the mud line in them because the mud line is from the dirt and eating stuff on the bottom. And so because they were fed and it was all rock bottom, stone, not dirt, there was no mud line. It was all pure white meat catfish. It was so good. It was the best catfish. It was the best catfish. Hilton's also been knocked to second place. Well, never had grits either. Grits are good. Grits are good for you. Don't like catfish? Okay. If it's cooked, if it's good catfish, it's good. As long as it's like fresh, good catfish, that's white, pure white meat catfish. Good. Good.
It said that it is working with fisheries managers across the country to better prioritize existing resources and streamline operations. Other legal challenges are expected as the administration looks to ease federal oversight on dozens of other fish species.
The federal government is one piece of the puzzle of managing these fisheries. It is a broadly public participatory system where all of the states and stakeholders are on an even ground. This is another reason why we're so worried about the direction that these exempted fishing permits have taken us, because they skipped all of that public process.
We recognize the need for sustainability. We don't want to catch all the fish, then we'll be out of business. We want those conservation efforts, but we also want to be able to sustainably access our public resources.
Wow, that's interesting.
Recreational fishing.
So yeah, so I don't know. Part of the effort. So we got to see deep sea mining. Oh, look at that! Companies join deep sea mining rush after Trump executive order. Oh, that's good. Get the stuff out of the deep sea because like a lot of stuff is there in the sea. Yeah, so it's not really overfishing. Oh, so this is the commercial fishing zone for snapper permitted with U.S. exclusive economic zone. See, but like this, I fish on the coast here, off this way in the Gulf, not in the Atlantic. Catfish is good, but eat the smaller ones. Where I live, they'll catch catfish up to 100 pounds. Yeah, no, these were not that big. These were like basically almost like farm raised catfish on this private land and private lakes. Yeah, 50-ish people did not hit the like. Well, it was a lot more than that. We had over 400 people here watching the show tonight at one point in time. Yes. We peaked out at 456 peak concurrent viewers. Yeah. And still, we only got 100 likes? Wow, that's bad. That's not good. That's no good. 130 likes. Could have been better than that. So yeah. Mine has bass, sunfish, perch, and some pike because it's a creek-fed pond. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. So. All right, then we got this story, which I think everyone's going to like considering it's Pride Month. Some Republican governors rebrand June with conservative alternatives to Pride. Yeah. Honduran man convicted of child rape today in Okeechobee. June is widely recognized as Pride Month, but a handful of Republican governors have bestowed alternate titles that both supporters and opponents view as counter-programming. You'll be back. All right, thank you. If you go 20 miles out, you're in international waters, no U.S. can stop you from fishing. I don't know, man. You're more than 20, 30 miles out. It's don't make me go out there. I make you hit the like button. That's right. I don't know. Is that different because it's in the Gulf of America? So it's considered I don't know. Without directly saying the idea was to replace Pride, the governors of Indiana and Tennessee rebranded June as Nuclear Family Month to celebrate new units made up of one husband, one wife, and any biological, adopted, or fostered children. In Alabama, it's Strong Families Month intended to coincide with Father's Day. Governor Kay Ivey's proclamation says fathers are the head of household, and homes led by a father and mother provide children with structure and discipline necessary to succeed through life. Governors of Utah and Arkansas deemed it Fidelity Month, which emphasizes fidelity to faith, country, family, without comment on who those families might be compromised or comprised of. Last week, Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders posted a link to an article and a proclamation about another red state is counter-programming Pride Month. She and other governors haven't answered questions from the Associated Press about why their proclamations are all set in June. Why wouldn't they be? Why should we have to have a whole fucking month to celebrate open perversion? I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. Republican lawmakers in 4 other GOP states have introduced legislation this year calling for June to be Fidelity Month. An organization pushing the concept was founded by Robert P. George, a Princeton Press professor of jurisprudence, who's long been a leader of conservative thought. He told the National Catholic Register about the idea in 2023. Nobody gets a monopoly on a particular day or a particular month. Anyone notice more HIV medicine commercials for Pride Month? Yeah, or the fucking monkeypox. June Pride celebrations, which often include parades, festivals, and performances, began in 1970 to mark the first anniversary of the violent police raid on the Stonewall Inn. Well, here's the thing. The Stonewall Inn, they were selling illegal alcohol. They were illegal nightclubs. They weren't, they weren't licensed bars. They didn't have liquor licenses. They were illegal establishments. You can do whatever you want, but one thing you're not going to do is take away our pride or our joy, said Jordan Braxton, co-president of USA Prides. Well, you're not going to take my month of June either. Well, here we go.
So thank you so much for being willing to meet with us. I know you put out a statement earlier today. I'm just going to hand you this declaration, and I would love to get your initial thoughts when you first saw this come out.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to read this at home in kind of
You're seeing commercials?
the comfort and silence of my own home and have my
you shouldn't be
dismay privately. There were tears, and then there was some grumpiness, and I think that this is really something. This has been really something to try to process for me today, as someone who looks forward to June 1st as a day that we celebrate the strides that many members of our communities have made, the pieces of their lives that have not been represented or been allowed to exist in the past that they can now be proud of, that we can now celebrate them. And I am always looking forward to being able to celebrate that, whether it's through a statement or marching in a parade or attending a festival or going to, I think there's a rooftop gathering.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So
I mean, I received calls from friends and family in tears. Like, what do
friends and family in tears? Oh, they're so upset about it.
Proclamations are ceremonial, right? In a way. But when it comes from our highest spaces, whether that's our city mayors, our municipalities, whether it comes from our state governor, there is meaning behind that.
Oh, well, so there's meaning when you're promoting pride, that you're pushing it on all these kids. When you basically tell all the kids in school it's Pride Month, you do all this stuff, you're forcing it down our throats. You told us it was get out of our bedroom. Who we fuck and what we do in bedrooms is the privacy of our home. We don't want to talk about it. It's none of your business. But now you're pushing it in everybody's face. That's the problem. All right? That's the problem. That's the problem. That's the problem. So good. I'm glad the states are pushing back. Yeah, some Republican governors are rebranding June with conservative alternatives. How about they're just non-gay alternatives? Did she say rooftop celebration? Don't invite the Muslims. Yeah, that would be bad. Those Aldi stuffed shells are good baked in pasta sauce. Yeah, or licking cooch. Could be. All right, everybody. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to hit the goal for the second hour. So I will be calling it a night, I guess. We've hit almost 3 hours and 30 minutes here. So we will, unfortunately, we will be back tomorrow. Well, not unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately. Fortunately, we will be back. Funny. We'll be back tomorrow night. Saturday night, the show might be a little later just because I see on Saturday nights, it seems like the people like a later show, maybe like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. You just got a commercial too. I don't know what's going on with YouTube because I have commercials off. I shut them off. Has it been the whole show they've been playing? Commercials the whole show? Oh, I'm sorry. We'll see everybody tomorrow. All right. We will see everybody tomorrow and about probably like somewhere around 8 or 9 o'clock. I will try to get it set up early so everyone gets to see it. I'm gonna forward everybody over to Cynic's channel, over to Cynic on FFS. I probably will jump in there and talk to them about whatever they're talking about. So no ads here. Okay. I was hoping Rackets might be on to cover the court. No, he is still under a gag order. I spoke to him. I guess I could say I spoke to him earlier today by text and asked him, and he said he can't talk about it because he's under a gag order. Jim is a dirty old man. No, I'm not. I am not. Thanks for showing the chat. I'm going to go over to Cynic over on FFS. I'll see you guys there if you want to check it out. So thank you. Come on back tomorrow for Jim to tell you the news in that business and stuff later.